make up the. Okay, at least we got that going.
Well, I had it muted because I didn't know what you were going to be saying. BTerra Game just resubscribed with the Prime sub. Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to do any of the Twitch subscribing anything because I never had real subscribers on my Twitch before. I think it auto caches out at a certain point or something like that.
That's cool. I don't know how it works at all. I just know that Dion from Gold Squadron podcast used to always ask his people to sign up with their Prime subscription. Be like, if you got Prime, you get a free Twitch subscription. Give that to me. Yeah. Like it costs you nothing. Give it to me.
A lot of people don't. Like, it's crazy.
Give that to myself.
Well, it's crazy because like a lot of people don't realize that they have like a free Prime sub, and it's literally like,
right?
If it's somebody that you enjoy, then it's literally like I don't know. I think it's like $3 for the Prime sub or something like that.
I have no idea. Like it's just. I don't know how much a sub is.
I don't either.
I'm just here to make glorious content.
We're just here to talk and have a good time. That's all we're here for. Oh, I went to the gym after work today, and I haven't been working out because like my back. And right. I decided I'm gonna go and try and see how far I can get, and I did the bike I got 8 miles in like 40 minutes. It was
nice.
Yeah, it was I think it was like 40.
It's like a 12-mile-an-hour clip. Yeah.
Yeah, it was real good. Joey's in the house. Sure thing. BTerra Game.
Nice.
We like to get things going in here before we start. Scruff McGruff.
Nice. Cool posse.
Good times. Good times. We like to get people the chance to come in here before we actually get rolling with the show. So welcome to the pre-ramble. Who's painting? I don't. Oh, my printer is making noises.
Oh no, I just meant like this. We got a bunch.
My printer is actually making noises.
Fair enough. Like 3D printer or?
No, just a printer.
Oh, printer. All right, fair enough. Oh, Zemo, right? Yeah, I repainted my Zemo and I'm really happy with him. I think he looks like pretty darn cool. But he needs a lot more highlights. Like I've got him, he's like basically back to the point where like I tend to like old me would tend to just leave models behind and then just be like, oh, he's good enough. And then I'd forget to paint a rim on the base because I wasn't actually done with the model. But no. So Zemo needs some work still, but he's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, I'm like struggling with his Suns roster because I really, really want to play with Red Skull because he's extremely good under Suns. And I was really enjoying it. And it's like, you can't play it if it's not the TTS mod. And I'm like, damn it. Because I'm not going to lie, I would much rather have Prime. No, I'd rather have Skull than Prime. I think Skull actually like legitimately like changes Suns games because it gives them a legit frontliner who's also bringing that grunt. That grunt changes the game. Like it's so freaking good. But no, that's honestly that's probably what I'm playing for a while. Is Suns with Red Skull when he comes out. All right, I think we have enough people here that we can get started and not be wasting time.
All right,
let's
do it.
What's up, Strikes Midnight? Oh, what's this? What did I got? Had a session with Cutthroat and it's kind of left me devastated. Strikes Midnight said he's brutal. Oh, I didn't even get a lesson. I almost give up on painting forever. Good times. We are going to try to get him on the show for those of you who are here. It's just some stuff has happened and we're just waiting for a good time to work things together. So eventually we'll get him on the show and he can come and tell everybody how not as good at painting they are as I think they are. And and discuss this value topic that everybody seems to be. Honestly, like the first time he like showed me, I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like, like this is insane.
What? If he's ever mean to you, if he's ever mean to anyone who's a listener of this show, I will send you a picture of my Punisher to make you feel better, because you'll feel so much better. I promise.
All right. Let's go ahead and get on with the show. YOLO. All right. Hit the buttons. We are on Twitch. I'm sure I know how to highlight. Nope. You know how to highlight, but do you know how to highlight with value? It's a mindset. I think that's really what it is. It's a mindset of painting, not necessarily like a painting. It's just a mindset. It's insane. It's insane because like you like look at your picture, look at it in black and white. And then it's like, wow, there are no highlights on this thing. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I spent like an hour doing highlights alone on the face. And he's like, yeah, but nothing shows up. You're right.
Right? I don't see in black and white, dude.
I'm curious. I'm curious if he does. I'm curious if he just like looks at stuff in black and white now.
I'll bet he does. Like at some point, when I told my mom about like the experience with it, with him and with painting, not like he's in it, but like with like him and then painting. She was like, yeah. She reminded me that like some people who are good at like your hobby are actually good at painting.
Wow. Normally moms are extremely supportive. That's like a
oh no, she is, and she likes the models and stuff that I do. But like I like, so my mom comes from a background in, but like she worked a professional career, but like before she gave up on all that, she wanted to be a painter. So she has a lot of painting knowledge, and I've never asked her for any help, which probably gets under her skin a little bit. But so I was like, oh, he taught us about values, and she kind of gave me that just values, huh? You give you some lessons on how to paint with values.
Oh, good.
Turns out it's not unique to miniature painting.
It's just unique to American miniature painting, apparently.
That's because we all watched the same Warhammer video with like the dude that was like, this is how you paint. You put this on this, and then you just go base coat, and then you just dump this stuff, this giant like bottle of shade on it, and then you bring out some edge highlights. And like I feel like that's how. So I learned how to paint. That's how almost like everyone I know like basically learned how to paint. Everything else has been like self-taught because you wanted to dig deeper.
Yeah.
So you found
what's crazy about the whole like starting with the black and white doesn't really add that much more time to like your paint job, to be completely honest. Like, yeah, you're adding more time, but it takes away from the time that you spend doing your fine details. Like, because like you saw that bust, right? Like the bust, like I'm so used to like I'm gonna base my skin tones in red or a green or something like that. That's literally black and white to like the darkest skin tone base, and then up a level for detail and up a level for details. And that's all I did. I didn't base it in red. I didn't base it in anything. I literally just did black and white and then skin tone. It took away like 5 steps of my normal skin tone. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, because I stepped into his class, right? And I was literally like watching, and I saw like they had just gotten done doing the black and white, building their values. And then I saw somebody putting on the skin tone, which is the same exact base skin tone that I use. And Batarians, have we started the show? No, not yet. We have not started. We got side tangent 23 before the show, the pre-ramble. But anyways, like they started putting like the skin tone onto like the black and white. And I was like, how the fuck do they get like a better skin tone consistency than what I do after 5 steps? He's like, because you don't need that shit. Like you really don't. Build up your values and then put your skin tone on, and it builds the skin tone for you instead of you having to put all this crazy shit into it that doesn't actually do anything. And I was just like, wow, okay, well, I just feel stupid now. Like, and then now that I've done it on the bus, I was like, wow, this actually worked. I took a picture of it and sent it to my dad. He's like, how did you get that skin tone? Like, that's like a perfect skin tone. How did you do that? I'm like, black and white, like black and white, and then thin coats all the way up. Like, that's all you fucking do. And I'm just like, wow, I can't believe. Wow, I'm very vulgar tonight.
How did you do the white? Was it airbrush, like just like a zenithal kind of airbrush, or like did you have a
no? Okay, so I did zenithal. So I did zenithal at first, just to like get like the guidelines of the light source, and then I actually went through with like like the spectrum he showed us, like with the black to white spectrum, and then went through and actually like fine tuned my light source and made my black and white more pronounced on where I wanted the light source to be, and like brought out certain things, and then like literally use like Scruff said, you literally use black and white to build your spectrum, and you build up your values that way. So you use the zenithal to kind of give you a guideline, and then you use the black and white spectrum to build up your value. And then once you get the value where you're happy with it, then you come in with color. So like it adds another step to your pre-paint, but it also takes away from like how many layers you have to do to build up a color that you normally would spend like skin tones, old skin tones. I would do like a super like dark red, and then I would do a light coat of like my shadow flesh, and then I would do mid-tone flesh, and then I'd do my highlights. When this, I literally just do black and white, and then shadow flesh, and then my mid-tone, and then the highlights. So it took away like 2 steps. And it just adds, it takes away 2 steps and adds 1. But it's like the black and white, the building the values just makes like it builds in the shades for you as you're painting instead of you going back in later to build in the shades. Like
that's after awesome. Let's start the show. I have a question for you.
Okay.
I have a question for you that should be asked on here.
Okay. All right. We're gonna start the show now. Before I keep going on. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this war, there's no surrender. He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky?
You don't like a fair fight.
I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
Think you're the only superhero in the world?
Touché.
All right, welcome back to another week of the Rogue Agents. We are here to party and have a great time. How about all you people? Okay, you see you had a question. What did you want to ask? Because I want to know what the question is now.
I want to know how your monochrome Suns roster is coming together.
Oh, they're coming along spectacularly. I have not done anything to Blade since my submission picture. I have 9 days. I have 9 days to try and do this. I'm actually like, so I'm extremely like intimidated to try this, because it's like, usually if you're using a color, you can kind of mask it with a little bit, like, okay, like I've splotched a little bit here, I'm just gonna put a little more shade there and make it look like a shadow spot. But like black and white, like to me, like I can't get past that hurdle and the mind block in my head that I'm gonna have to do. Like,
couldn't you just do some of the value work that you were doing on the bust, so you could just kind of like use like your shades of gray?
So that was like that was the plan. Was I was gonna do the bust first to kind of give me like, okay, I have the foundation. Let's use Blade now to build up on this. That's why I took on like this whole entire thing. I'm gonna do my Midnight Suns in monochrome, because I'm gonna use this whole entire experience of doing Suns to do the monochrome, and plus it's super in theme for Suns because they were a black and white comic at one point. So I kind of like the idea of it, but I'm also just kind of like, what do I make black and what do I make white? What's gray? Like, like Blade, like that part is like the super confounding part where I'm just like, where do I even begin with this? So it's I have 9 days, but I'm probably gonna get started on it this weekend / so coming up. I'll have it done before the end of the month. But
I was just thinking, like, for Blade, like, would you look at like black and white pictures of like actual like Blade movie or Blade comic book stills?
I was going to go and pull up some pictures of the old comics when they were black and white, and then just print one of those off and like look at that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, that was my burning question. Sorry.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I had a conversation. I was on Omnis's pod this last week. Do them like spy versus spy? Yeah, absolutely. But I was like on Omnis's episode this last week, and he had said like it ain't a Rogue Agents episode if you don't mess up the intro. And I'm like, it's gonna be one of these days where like I go through and I get the intro actually like spot on, and we're actually on a flow, and we get things rolling just perfectly well, and then we have to scrap it because it doesn't feel right. Like, good times. All right. Also, if anybody wants to check out a Midnight Suns episode, go listen to Omnis Protocol. He and I did a episode on Suns. It just came out on Monday, I believe. It was fun. We just kind of like talked about basically concepts and mind thoughts with Midnight Suns and building lists and stuff like that. And I'm still working on Suns lists, and I still have not touched blade and painting as we just discussed. But let's get on with the show. We have announcements. Let me pull up my show notes. All right. Thanks to the patrons. So don't forget, we'll be doing the drawing in about a week and a half or so. Sentinel tactics, pretty cool. Pretty cool Sentinel tactics. I kind of like. Okay, so I want to talk about this card though. We don't ever talk about cards. I want to talk about this one. The right. Actually, you know what? There's a listener question on this. We'll hit it later. But the cards are pretty cool. I like Sentinels. Sentinels look super fun. Hot takes, cold drinks. I am still drinking Victory Sour. I don't know. I don't know why it's going to be any different. Because I just am in love with this beverage. What do you have tonight?
Tonight's Mutant X IPA. I am feeling kind of muty tonight.
Haha. All right.
completely. I did not mean to do that, but I did it. So,
well, you came on at first without a Marvel shirt on. He had like this stretch shirt on, and I was like, "You're gonna do 2 weeks in a row without a Marvel shirt," and he's like, "I'll be back," and he changed it, put that one on. All right, challenge of the week from last week. It was Strucker. What's up, Matt? Challenge of the week was Strucker plus conditions. Every character had to have a condition. I personally liked Todd's. The pickle is his Discord name. And his list was, where's it at? Strucker, Zola, Mordo, Viper, Witch, Bucky, Hawkeye, Sin, Omega Red, and Proxima Midnight. I like the fact that it's got Omega in there because I think I'm trying to put Omega in my one. His thought process with it is ideas to put out all status and benefits from passing them off and being able to reroll for them and have the crisis help spread even more. You could run Strucker, Zola, Witch, Viper, Hawkeye to dump status, and then you use Scarlet Witch's card to get more statuses, kick them while they're down, and just keep stacking from there. He's playing Secures with Demons, Terrigen, and Fisk. So he's running all the condition Secures, which is kind of funny. He's got Illicit Tech, kick them while they're down, Whims of Chaos. Those are all basically it's like so much jammed in condition. This is exactly what I wanted. Like that's why I picked him.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that list a lot. What's up, Nellen? Did you pick one, or did you not look at it?
I looked at them. I have not a whole lot of interest in Hydra. Not
That's
for
fair.
any particular reason. I think they're going to be like everywhere. I
Yeah.
think they're going to define the meta for a little while. And I'm way more interested in playing things that aren't Hydra.
That's fair. Completely fair. Oh, did you say what you were drinking? Oh yeah, you did. Muty, the mutant.
Yeah,
God,
Mutant
I'm
X.
like super spacey now. Okay, I guess we're gonna go ahead and get into the main topic, and this is why I kind of put out a message today, is inviting everybody to come out. Let's go talk. Let's talk about the state of the game right now. I feel like you had mentioned that there's like other podcasts that are kind of having a similar topic, but it's also kind of an important topic right now because I see nothing but like negativity across the Discords and Facebook of people just kind of being down on the game right now. And I feel like as content creators, it should be like on us to reinvigorate people's want to play the game. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I can dig on that. Yeah, I think that is the case. It's on us, and it's on us as players too. But if the game got you down, then it's time to figure something out. And so I remember, if you guys don't mind, a story from an old man.
I remember. You remember?
I remember when all you got was the worst thing that we had to deal with.
I still think
And,
I would rather have today's meta than have that meta. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah.
Like, let me get Enchantress Medusa. All you got, like, and you could spam that in literally any list. Like any list, you could fit Enchantress Medusa, and then take 3 of whatever the affiliation is, and you have a top tier list. Like, it's just like God.
That's an interesting splash pieces. It's something that we should come back to as we talk through this. But my buddy and I just stopped playing All You Got against each other. That was it. So that was back when it was mostly just Fred and I every week. And at one point, like, I just stopped bringing All You Got. A couple weeks later, Fred stopped bringing All You Got. And I was like, why'd you stop bringing All You Got? And he was like, because it seems like so much of the game, because at this point we were traveling for stuff, but we hadn't really like met too many other people playing.
Yeah.
And like in our area. And he's like, I just feel like every game seems like it's a race to All You Got.
Yeah.
Like, who got there first? Who got there better? And it's like, yeah. I agree.
Well, so like, what would you say is like the issue with the game state now? Like, why is there so many complaints? Why is there so much, like, I guess, discourse with where the game's at currently?
I think we have 2 problems. One of which, by problems, I really just mean like we have 2 things that people complain about.
Okay.
And one of them, I don't actually think that a lot of people are like complaining about the right thing. So what we have, it's hard for me to say. We have an extract problem. This is the one that I don't think that people like actually want to talk about very often. I think we kind of have an extract problem in the game. And this is the one that I don't think people complain about, I don't know, enough or correctly. Like, you can complain however you want, but like there's a way that you can complain that's just like crying and whining into the ether. And then there's a way that you can complain that's like, trying to actually fix whatever your problem is or make yourself more prepared for it. This problem leads directly to problem number 2, which is, unfortunately, in my opinion, a little bit similar to the Medusa Enchantress All You Got splash, which is that we have very, very strong characters that can show up in just about every affiliation. And it's one of the beautiful things about this game is that you can play your favorite character anywhere. It's also one of those things about this game where, like, if we get a critical mass of really good things that are all coexisting at the same time, and we don't have other options that like at least can like kind of offset some of that, then we tend to push very hard in that direction. And the more what up, Bardcat? Yeah, we're over Mal here. Dyzard plays like 100 games with him, and he never wants to play with him again. And the cat rejected my body, so
there's poison in the veins.
So we're all done with that. But I mean, that said, I feel like this podcast, we've kind of taken the approach of like, we like to play fun things. We like to play powerful things too. Like, we missed Hyper Viper's presence. Hopefully we can get him back on sometime in the very near future. But like, when we first started, Thanos was the boogeyman. And that guy and I would constantly talk about our Thanos love. Because playing with fun pieces is fun. And that's a thing that, to a large extent, Medusa and Enchantress and All You've Got enabled some really fun plays for like a dude to just like go and do a thing and like have some fun. Unfortunately, it came like really hardcore at your opponent's expense, and like people would never recover from games. And then you've got like this whole period of time where the game's kind of in limbo. Like, it's like you and your opponent, and the moment is past. The game seems like somewhat unwinnable, and you're ready to walk away. And I think that we're in an interesting place right now with a lot of people who. Okay, so one more background piece for this was something that I remember talking with Mike DeLuca after NashCon last year, not this past NashCon, but the one before, talking about some of his perspective on Black Order. And he said the most flattering thing that like anyone in Crisis Protocol has ever said to me. He was like, I have to make so many roster concessions for you. Because I was playing Black Order at the time, and Black Order basically meant that playing Black Order a year and change ago basically meant that your opponent had to bring not their favorite characters to the game, because they had to bring stuff that could beat Black Order. And it's not because you're going to play Black Order in round 1 or round 2 or round 3, but like if you're at a 4-round event, like there's a chance you're going to see that hyper competitive roster, whether it's whatever shape it's taking currently. You're going to see it in round 3, you're going to see it around 4, you're going to see it in round 5, you're going to see it in the cut. And like, if you're not prepared for that, right? It's like one of the things that I remember hearing people talk about football and even Magic was like you basically have to build your team or your deck or your roster for the higher end of competition, not the lower end. At the lower end of competition, like honestly, player skill, dice, just having a couple of superior pieces might be enough. But at the higher end of competition, you need to be prepared for that. And that's where everything starts to go kind of to this level of skew where we all start complaining about it in one shape or form. So hopefully that was a whole cohesive arc. Sorry, it was a little long, a little bit of a ramble there.
Oh, you're fine.
But
what's new? Normally it's me the one that's rambling, but
welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. And we have been the rogue agents.
So basically, extract problems, roster sameness, and now we've got some very strong splash pieces that are forcing some very specific concessions to be made in your roster to play at a high level.
I think like you said it there, but you didn't hit on it really that hard. And that's the roster sameness. If you look across like different launch shanks or other tournament softwares, like anything that records data, like the majority of what you're seeing that are winning events is Cabal Malekith and Sam Vengers. Like that's literally like I saw a screenshot the other day of like I think it was like a 12-person event or something like that. And literally the only thing you saw on launch shanks was Cabal, Avengers. And it's kind of like that kind of like ruins like any type of like fun, to be completely honest. Like, it really does. It's very much like I want to go to an event and play whatever I want to play. But you know, like we're here to talk about like the game state, and like this might come off a little bit of negative, but we're trying to be as honest as possible, right? And be as positive
Matt,
as
much
possible.
Avengers.
Too much Avengers.
How much vanilla ice cream do you need in this life?
But so I think it kind of comes down to a simple thing though, is just like we all like see like all these Cabal and Avengers, and then everybody just kind of jumps on it because it's like I want to be competitive. I feel like I have to play this to be competitive, and that's kind of like where this podcast came from, isn't it? Is I want to play what I want and be competitive. So I'm going to put a challenge out to everybody is don't follow the bandwagon. Don't follow the Avengers or the Cabal. Like, granted, I played Cabal, but I was playing Cabal before it was hot. Like, for, like I don't know. Like, okay, I don't think I fell on the bandwagon. I just want to say, I don't think I fell on the bandwagon because I was like, Malekith's picture came out. I was like, I'm going to play Malekith at Nova. I don't care what his rules are. That's such a cool model. But it's like, I also just like hipster Dyzard. Wow. I was I did it before it was cool. Gosh. Whatever, Barncat. I'm playing Midnight Suns now. You should be happy about that. And it doesn't have Malekith in the list either. But anyways, I don't know. Like, I don't want to be framed as one of those people that like just jumped on the bandwagon when it was like, I don't know. I feel like me, Vince Chan, Mando, I think, and Peyton were probably like the people putting the most work into Malekith lists.
Yeah, I feel like I was the idea guy at best.
I mean, you gave me.
I was like, try this. I'm not gonna run any games with it though. I'm just gonna get smoked by Hyperviper.
But it's like we look at like the state of like all these like launch tank events and other things going on, and it's like everybody's playing the same thing, and like that's gonna be like I'm playing nothing but mirror matches. So I guess like my challenge to the listeners is like still just like go to an event, play what you want, and try to beat the meta. Don't be the meta, beat the meta. Like I don't know how else to say it. Like I don't know, I'm playing freaking Suns, which people laugh at and be like, "Why are you playing Suns?" Like because I want to do something that not everybody else is doing, and I want to try and succeed with it. I'm trying to use like some sort of thought behind this list and be able to play it to a point that is actually going to be successful. Is it the best of the best? No, not by any means. I'm not going to say ever that like Suns are like top tier meta and going to win events like crazy. But it's like, I don't know. We're playing a game for fun. They be? I mean, they should be. But it's also like why am I going to go to an event and like play what's meta and be bored the entire time? And like why, like for me personally, like I stopped playing Malekith list because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of playing Malekith. I'm burnt out with it. I don't care to go to an event. I'd rather go to an event and lose than go to an event and win with Malekith at this point. I've played way too much Malekith and I want to play something different. Because it's boring to me to play the same list for more than 2 months, apparently. Trademark, don't be the meta, beat the meta. but that's the whole philosophy of the show, isn't it? Is like, what can we do to play what we want and like still be competitive? And it comes down to like mindset and concepts and all that. Like, I don't have to go play Avengers to go have fun. I don't have to go to an event and like have to win that event to have fun. We're playing a game that we spent money on to have fun. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I spent, I don't know how much on this game by now. I pretty much have everything. So however much that is. And I want to play with all my toys and not like only like 25% of them or even like 10% of them. So that's the challenge that I have for everybody who's listening to this is stop, I guess, following the bandwagon and like play what you want. Like if you want to play Guardians, play Guardians. Oh, but Guardians aren't good in this meta. Who cares? Like make your own meta. You don't have to like play. You laugh at it, but I'm serious. You know what I mean?
I'm not
like,
laughing. I think Guardians are good into everything except for maybe Mal. I think the Guardians are actually like absolutely amazing. Into,
but then,
like,
but then they
except for maybe Mal.
But then the answer is
Brotherhood's a little rough too.
But then the answer is, oh, just play Malekith in the list. Well, don't do that. If you don't want to play Malekith, don't freaking play Malekith. Like, there's other solutions. There are other characters in this game that are just slept on because of the fact that, oh, this character's meta, so I'm gonna play this character. I'm getting worked up about this, you know, like
you are getting a little worked up about it.
I'm tired of like I don't know. The biggest complaint is I see people saying, I don't like the game right now because I'm forced to play this. You're not forced to fucking do anything. Like you're not. Like, I agree. Like play what you want and have fun with it. Like you got Barncat in here saying Space Maw, Ant-Man. Joey Ed says Ant-Man is so sick. But like I'm also not forced to play the game. No, you're not. You're not. You're there to have fun. Go to an event. You're paying money to go to an event. You're paying money for these models. Play whatever you want to. You don't have to play Malekith. You don't have to play Sam. Like if you go with the intent of I want to win this event, well, what do you want to win that event with? Well, I want to win this event with Midnight Suns. Okay, well, spend the time building a Midnight Suns list and have fun with it and, like, play the game how you're going to have fun. Now, if that means, like, I'm going to play the game and win at the expense of my, like, sanity and boredom, then sure, play whatever. Play Avengers. Play Sam. Play Malekith, which, in my opinion, Malekith and Sam are probably, like, the absolute top dogs of the game at the moment. But, like, where's the fun in like that? Like, I don't want to go to my local and just like stomp everybody because a character is good. I want to stomp everybody because I'm a good player. And how do you show that? You show that by playing something like X-Force or Midnight Suns or something that's not the top of the meta. So if you want to like prove yourself as a competent player, play something that's not meta. All right, rant done. Go ahead.
I got 2 cents on that.
Yeah. Give me 5 cents. I want 5 cents. Give me the nugget of knowledge right now.
So, 2 things, right? Always at least 2 things, but 2 things. Number 1, every character in the game is somebody's favorite character. Yeah. Even Malekith. You came from a background of really enjoying Malekith as a character, and boom, there you are. You had your moment in the sun, and
it was stopped by Corvus.
Well, you know. Black Order's crushes dreams.
I told you I'm never going to let you down on that.
Even my own. But there's a certain social contract to games like this. And I think that just understanding why you want to bring something, it's like, you know, going back to All You've Got with Fred, where we both just kind of stopped running it even without talking about it. It was just like, you know what? That's not the game that I want to play. So I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to complain if you sit down and like, that's the game that you want to play. So that's the important distinction, right? Is you've got to be able to let go of your opponent's roster, because that's another thing that we're all about here. Like, powerful pieces are fun to play, but at the same time, you can't be like, I don't want to play against Malekith. I don't want to play against this. I don't want to play against that. I don't like this. And you can say those things, but at the end of the day, you really can't take too much umbrage with it, or that's not the matchup for you that night. And at that point, it's a social conversation or social contract. It's a conversation between friends. It's a conversation between peers. It's a conversation between players of the same game. That's just like, hey, if this is like we don't have to do this kind of stuff. I was talking with somebody the other night and I explained, I was trying to like split a hair on like how my summer felt so grindy with like an LVOIS like every month and then 2 pretty big tournaments at the end where there was like always something to prep for, always something to do, always something where like I couldn't just like feel comfortable kicking back and just putting characters that I wanted to put on the table because I had to get ready for this event, or I had to, you know, try and do this or try and do that. And meanwhile, literally for like almost every single one of those events, I took all the ones I did well at, I took a roster that I built the night before.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm just going to play this. And it's not because, you know, I'm trying to tell you not to put in reps or things like that, because I never built a list that wasn't a bunch of pieces that I had tons of experience with. Right. So like all the reps and stuff, I still stand behind that as a statement, but that doesn't mean you can't just like have some fun and do something, you know, that comes to you in the night, which brings me to a topic that I wanted to kind of touch on, which is like innovation versus everything else.
Innovation is key. The slogan of the podcast that we probably haven't said in like 3 months.
And you innovate by exploring. Like that's how you do it. And if you get stuck on the same things, if you get stuck in the same track, if you get stuck on what somebody told you is optimized, or, you know, you get stuck on something that you've had really great experiences with, like I got ripped on the week after Original Human Torch came out because I was fielding Iron Man in a game that I could have fit my Original Human Torch. And it's like, why are you playing Torch? Like, you know what Iron Man does. How many games you got with Torch? And it's like, oh, dang it. So I haven't not brought Torch since then, just because I wanted to get more games with him.
Yeah.
But innovation is ideas. It's using pieces that people don't understand. It's understanding the qualities of your list that nobody else can, you know, quite grasp. It's a combination of your play style and the pieces that you choose. And you can net list some great stuff in any game. This game is not exclusive from that. I think this game might be a little bit more complicated than some, I mean, just like grab and go strategies.
Let's hit on that real quick. It's like you look back at Magic or any other like big game, like War Machine even, or any big game, is typically you see people like, oh, this list is super freaking good. This deck is super freaking good. Like, I'm going to bring this deck. And then you know what ends up winning the overall tournament? Not that deck. And stuff that has been like in the game since the very beginning and old, and stuff that everybody just forgot about how it works because they're so focused on like, this is what the meta is. So like innovating and using stuff that's different. Yeah.
Anything you pull off the internet that's already won or placed well at an event is old news.
Yeah.
It's like, number one, it's a proven commodity. Everybody knows how good that is. Like, I don't want to take anything away from Sploosh's NashCon victory or Janway's Nova victory, right? But like, playing Avengers is not an unknown commodity. You know what you're doing. You're bringing the best. You're trying to do something, and that, you know, that's tournament expectations, right? Like, what are you here to do? I'm here to win. Well, if you're here to win, then go for it. If you know, good for you. If you're an Avengers fan right now, like, this is a wonderful time for you to be alive and playing MCP. But like, I don't know. I don't hate the Avengers, but they're not my bag. So
yeah, and that's the same with me. Is like I don't want to play Avengers because I just don't care. Like, I don't care to play the Avengers. Like, you laugh at it, but it's like that's how I am. Like I don't care to play Sam. I don't care to play Steve. Like, to me, those aren't exciting characters. Like, Blade and Midnight Suns is more exciting to me than Avengers is, because that's how I am as a person. It's not because like they're an underdog or because anything like that. It's because they're a more interesting character that is like not, in my opinion, not solved yet. Like, I strongly think that Midnight Suns and Blade itself are not solved. So that's kind of like where my next scene was. Getting into Malekith, I was like, well, this thing's brand new. I like the model a whole lot. I love the character in the comics. It's a super in-depth character. Rules came out. This guy's super broken. I don't care. I'm playing it anyways. And let me build the list how I want to play the list. But like, I guarantee you, like, my Malekith list was different than other people's Malekith lists. I was running freaking Omega Red and Sinister. and making them work under him. But there's are very, very usually like maligned characters where people are like, oh, don't fucking play that. But that's how I build lists. That's how I play.
Now, if somebody brings Omega Red and Sinister with Mal, like to some extent, they're also a proven commodity. Like it's like this is where it can be hard. It can be if you're dealing with an innovator, when you find like when they find, or you, if you're an innovator, however it's working out for you in your group, right? When somebody brings something that's good and it like surprises you and knocks your socks off, like there's a reason I say that casual is far more brutal of a game than competitive is. In competitive, we expect everything to beat the crap out of us.
Yeah.
In a casual game, there are factions that can just, or affiliations that can basically like hard counter each other accidentally. There are also like just setups that can hard counter each other accidentally. And then on top of that, if you've got someone who's actually exploring new territory, they can find something that is just brutal and just beat the crap out of everybody, competitive or casual alike. And it's like, well, dang, like that can be as big of a quote unquote NPE as anything else that you experience in this game. And it's like, hopefully you can, take a step back and be like, that's cool. I haven't seen that before. Wow, I'm impressed. Or like, talk to them about it, drill down deeper with them, steal it for your own, like whatever makes you happy.
Whatever happens,
For sure. But I don't know. If I got 2 points here, it's that anything you pull off of Longshanks or, otherwise on the internet that's already done something somewhere, that is a proven commodity. And in some ways, it represents a meta that is already resolved or resolving. So, I mean, we've talked about that a little bit before. We're going to have a shakeup here really soon.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what we're complaining about in a month and a half.
Midnight Suns with Red Skull. All right.
Probably extracts.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay, so I want to get back to that real quick, and that's like the two big issues of the game. We've talked quite at length about like samesies and like seeing like mirror lists or basically the same list. We've kind of like hit that nail in the coffin pretty hard. Let's talk about extracts real quick. Like extracts are in a bad spot, to be completely honest. Like let's not sugarcoat it at all. Let's just be honest. We've had the same extracts for a year now. The last new extract was Legacy Virus, wasn't it?
Legacy Virus and Research Station that came out like in the same window.
Yeah, and that was last fall, I'm pretty sure.
It's been like a year,
yeah. So it's like we're kind of in this state.
We've lost two extracts since then.
Yeah, and so it kind of like really narrows the field, and it's kind of like, man, like AMG, like what's happening? Like what are we gonna do about extracts? We don't see any extracts on the horizon either. Like all these character boxes coming out don't have extract card or crisis card even on the box. So it's like, what is happening? So I to be completely honest, I was gonna say like, what can we do about like these issues and these complaints? But it's like, as far as this goes, there really isn't a whole lot we can do, except for like just play what you want, enjoy. Like that's kind of where I'm at with the game currently. Is I'm gonna play what I want, have fun with it. I mean, it's kind of where I've always been, but I'm gonna play what I want and like have fun with it. Like I'm there to have a social experience with friends, and I'm there to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that what miniature gaming is about? Is to have a social experience with friends. So like, that's what you get from the game. Like it's not like.
Right.
You get fun from playing the game. You may say the game is stale at the moment, but there are people, like we talked about this pre-show, and that was Guild Ball. What was the mission in Guild Ball? I have a ball that I'm going to try and score goals with, or I'm going to try and kill you. There was no like different objectives. There was nothing else. Like it's the same objective every single game. But people loved it. People played the shit out of Guild Ball. People still play the shit out of Guild Ball and do like the fan service of it. And like people are trying to keep it going. So it's like you just like people love a game that has a good core set of rules and can play the crises or the objective. And in this case, to be honest, like you still have a lot of different options as far as crises go. Yeah, we've been playing the same crisis with no change for over about a year now, but you're still going to play like crisis combinations that you don't play on the regular. Like I'm going to run into, I don't know, spiders and Fisk when all that. So maybe change up your crises that you're playing so that way it changes the game. Like maybe you're not playing something that maybe your list probably wants. like there are things that you can do to like change up the crisis situation, and that's like don't follow the net listing. Bring in different crises that people don't normally see. Stop playing hammers. Stop playing. Oh, I don't know what else do you see all the time? Crecor? Like play something other than that. Play the weird extracts that other people aren't playing, and that might throw a wrench in people's plans. It's like, all right, I'm only expecting to see this crisis, this crisis, and this crisis because that's all anybody's playing. Because everybody's net listing at this point. So bring something that throws a wrench in the machine. And like that's going to actually give you a competitive edge, to be completely honest. Because now everybody's at the state of the game where they're so used to seeing the same the same 3 crises over and over and over again. Like, I don't know. I played hammers probably 3 out of 4 times at Nova. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So, like, I'm so tired of playing hammers. Okay, well, I'm not going to play hammers. Even if my list is super good at it, I'm going to bring something different.
So normal. Yeah.
But that's what
I feel like an overabundance of hammers is just like, welcome to Crisis Protocol.
We got Joey in the chat here. It says, absolutely, we've been drawing them totally at random. So I'm guessing like he means like at the game store, they'll play a game, and they'll just completely draw what the crisis scenario is instead of going off of the list. That's actually kind of an interesting concept. Like, yeah, do that. Like, just play completely random. It also helps you fine tune your list instead of just playing like what's like your think is good for your list. Like just completely randomly draw your crises, make the game more interesting on your casual game night. Bring random ones, have a plucky attitude, and win it. Absolute Matt says.
Well, I mean, there's all right. So, Battle Realms. The problem with Battle Realms was that it added an additional layer to the game, that the more experienced you were with the game, the easier the pick ban process was for you to understand how to hurt your opponent, how to better disable whatever they had decided to bring to Battle Realms. So as a game to increase the fun value of the game, it, in my opinion, it didn't quite work that way. I think it's a cool format, and I'd actually like to play it some more, especially as these character lists get so deep.
Yep.
Like you can literally bring like 15 X-Men now and be like, yeah, I can play Battle Realms with this. Like, you decide who I don't get to bring.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I look at, now when I look back on Battle Realms is the crisis mechanic. And at the time, it actually was a huge turnoff for me because I was like, man, I'm so tired of playing on flip secures, because it was like the least of all evils, right? So Battle Realms, you pick 5 of each, five extracts, 5 secures. And then each player would randomly put one of each of theirs into a pot. And then you'd roll for priority and you'd pick your pot, and then you'd grab those crises. But because it was all random, you couldn't just like throw all the things that you were good at in there, because your roster was, somewhat diverse. You could see what the crisis was before you were picking rosters. So it could be kind of easy to just like ban this, that, and the other thing. And now you didn't have as much game as you would normally have playing on this crisis that you prefer. So I brought potatoes and flip secures to that, and I was not alone in bringing that to Battle Realms, and it made it really unenjoyable to me at the time. I was like, man, like I'm so tired of just playing on flip secures and on potato extracts. And now I look back on that, and it turns out that like that's basically, if we were to like define the extract and secure combination meta from like season 8 and season 7 of the TTS League, and a lot of my own experience in real life, like that's the world we're living in right now, is that's what people are bringing by and large. You can bring other things, but because of, things like Kingpin, it makes it hard to bring non-flips if you're not in some way advantaged on just standing around. So either you've got like, pushes and throws and plenty of displacement, or you just count as 2, or you have both. So I think that there's a certain element there that's like, wow, we are in the place where those Battle Realm crises combinations that so frustrated me before, I have to play that for like regular MCP now. And I guess I don't mind it as much, but I wonder if it's the same kind of like mindset that has some people complaining about other things when, like I said earlier, I think that, the complaints, some of the complaints about sameness in the game have more to do with, the extracts and secures that we're playing on, as opposed to the character, but which are leading us to pick a certain set of characters because they excel at those.
Yeah.
And
I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to play Battle Realms because I was deployed when it happened.
Oh, that's
when it
right.
came out.
Yeah, and it was very short-lived.
Yeah, it was literally like, hey guys, here's Battle Realms, and literally like probably a month later, it was like nobody liked it. Like this is garbage.
Yeah.
But
Another
like the way
content creators destroyed.
yeah, the way you describe it, like I don't know. I feel like maybe they tried introducing Battle Realms too soon. Before there was like a good like amount of characters and crises to actually be able to do it successfully. So I don't know. Maybe that's something that worth like re-exploring is Battle Realms. Like it does sound super interesting. Because
again, I think it's something for an experienced group to play against each other way more than like trying to like, you know, make a play that's something that's like new player friendly or anything like that. So that's another thing that I think is important to talk about in this is new players and the game. Yeah. And having discussions like this and having, you know, this kind of negative energy in the community at large, period.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get to that in a second. But like you mentioned, like competitive players, like we're always looking for like the way to play the game, the most least variant, least like way more strategy type of thing. And technically Battle Realms is that way to play the game. The way I look at it on paper, that's probably what it should be. But it's like it kind of takes like, hey, like we should probably revisit Battle Realms to see how it performs in the game now. Because maybe that gives people like the different feeling that they want, where they feel like they have agency on what their opponent can bring by being able to ban something like, oh, if you don't pick Malekith first, I'm going to ban Malekith. But then people just pick Malekith first, which I've had that conversation with people.
Whoever your follow-up is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Battle Realms might have some legs as a competitive format, not as just like a way to play the game. And that's another problem that I think we have. Talk this one on the end too, is that we don't have a large enough community to fracture right now.
Well, so let's go ahead and dive into the whole negative mental attitude and community talk. Okay, I'm gonna be real fucking egregious right here because I am fucking sick and tired of seeing nothing but like just garbage, like garbage talk. Like I don't know how else to phrase it. I really don't, because it's like I used to love talking in the fan server. I used to love talking across all the Discords about the state of the game, different things going on. But it's so negative now that I just avoid it. Like the only Discord that I really like actually partake in is ours, and then like private group Discords where it's like very select individuals that are talking competitively and like building certain lists and trying to do this and this. But it's like the general overall public Discords and like conversations that take and happen in them is extremely just off-putting. And imagine being somebody who doesn't have like an established love for this game. Somebody who's like, hey, I heard MCP is a great game. Like I heard it has a great rule set. I kind of want to get into this. I'm going to join this Discord that has hundreds of people in it, like over 1,000 people in it. And everybody's talking about this Discord. I join it and all I see is the game is bad right now. And that's what I see. Like, I'm not going to want to play the game, and I'm going to completely be like, cool, another 40K, and I'm just going to leave, and I'm not going to be a part of this community. Like, I don't know. Like, it's extremely like sad to see, because I love this game and I want to talk positive about it. I want to talk like ideas about it. Like, I love like our little dojo chats that we have in our server, because it's literally like, what can I do to make this work? Like I have, I don't know, probably like Joey, Draz, Matt Herb, God, who else is on the Midnight Suns train? Basically the Midnight Suns posse. I'm gonna call it that. But like we're like, I mean, I'm pretty bad at it because like I'm working all day and I don't pay attention to Discord that much, but I do when I can. But it's like, it's a positive communication and it's a positive talk that's literally like, what can we do to make this work? Have you tried this yet? Have you tried this yet? And it's like what that conversation that I used to get from those like affiliation Discords in the fan server and across other Discords. I used to have those conversations there, but now I don't want to, because it's like, well, I'm thinking about doing this. Like, yeah, but Mal kind of just shits on that. Like, and that's that's the end of the conversation. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, there are a lot of voices in the community right now that are saying very similar things, and a lot of are like somewhat private places. Barncat, we did not do this. We did not do this.
Barncat says in the chat,
I appreciate our people
this.
keeping us honest.
Well,
I appreciate our people keeping us honest.
Okay, so like let's talk about that real quick. Is Barncat says that I did this. Like whenever Malekith came out and Malekith was like beginning to be a thing and all this stuff, like I was telling people, this is what you need to look at doing with Malekith. This is what you need to do against him. This is what you need to do to play him. Giving all spectrums of how this character is impacting the game. Like
to be fair, we did quite a lot.
we did. I won't deny that. But the big thing is like it wasn't just like it wasn't all like, hey, Malekith game bad. It was like, hey, here's some things to consider. And in my opinion, none of that has changed. It's still the same. It's like, what do I do against Mal? Okay, well, I control him, I tax him, and I try to play the game and outscore before he can get that lead on me. That's still a thing. But the issue is you see these conversations. I get real heated about this because I see it every fucking day. And it's like,
not fair.
And it's like, well, what do I do because Malekith is in the game and I can't do anything because Malekith is here. Well, Play Sam. Yeah. but I don't want to play Sam.
Okay, now we have a conversation.
Yes. but that's the thing though. Like the conversation just stops. It's literally like nobody is discussing the game. It's literally like, I don't like this. Bad.
It's because we all want to play our favorite characters. We all want to play characters that we made a connection with, either
nobody,
in the game or in fiction.
But nobody is like actually doing anything about it. Like all I see is like negativity and like, well, why would you play that when you can just play Malekith? That's not the fucking answer. Like it's I am like hot and fire tonight, you know? But like
you are.
Like
it's good.
It's not good. Though. Like and that is what is creating the state of the game that everybody hates right now. It's the community literally all coming to a conclusion that end all be all Malekith Sam are lords and saviors, and we must play Malekith and Sam if we want a chance at playing competitive. Like, no, like I'm gonna play Midnight Suns and I'm gonna do the freaking best that I can and see if I can best a Malekith list. Because
I think it's more complex than that, but please continue.
I want to read some of the comments over here. We got Joey Edge.
Yeah.
I'm a total noob, and the Suns Dojo got me hyped all over again. Absolute mad. It's the same problem with herbs. Yes, there was janky plays, but there were tons of ways to stop it, and nobody wants to invest the time to play on it to learn how to play the extract. Barncat, I literally have tuned out to pretty much only Guardian Guidance fan server to chat there and help guard the Guidance folks. Cause a lot of the others have devolved. In my opinion. Not wrong. I'm digging sassy rogue agents. I have been voiding the main Discord. My eyes bugging me. And other for the same reason, Dyzard. Yeah, I was talking to Omnis, and I was like, I don't enjoy talking in the Discords anymore because it's all just like shitting on the game. Like I don't know how else to put it. It really, really, really is. I remember a huge toxic convo in the X-Force Discord. And I have not talked in the X-Force Discord to actually have a conversation in months.
Okay, hold on. To be fair, X-Force specifically, their Messiah abandoned them. So there's a reason. Literally the person everyone in the X-Force dojo was looking to be their savior was like, peace. I found Malekith.
Malekith. I'll be back. Don't worry. I keep backed away from them. Okay. I keep being told that I can't go back to X-Force yet. So everybody, I'm gonna call him out right now.
It's true. You can't.
Everybody can blame Omnis. Go ahead and just at Omnis in the Rogue Agents Discord or wherever you know him is at, and how much silver were you paid? And just say
30
why.
shekels.
Just be like, why won't you let Dyzard play X-Force?
It's a personal growth thing, guys. He's got.
No, it is. I have to explore other things. I'll probably won't play X-Force again until they get a new model or tactics card or something like that. Once that happens, I'll probably be like right back in it. but it's like he body slid 2 times far away. Goddamn, your growth gave us all cancer. Diz. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
God, the comments in this are just freaking savage. Jesus. I guess I need to play some X-Force. I still play X-Force though, to be completely honest. I still play them from time to time, but like right now my focus is Midnight Suns, so that's what I'm working on. I was trying to do a Midnight Suns and X-Force combo, and then a certain someone was like, "Just stop! Like, get away from X-Force. Like, just don't do it. Give yourself a long enough break so that way when you revisit X-Force, it's with fresh eyes." I'm like, okay, fine. Red Skull, Master of X-Force. Honestly, Red Skull, New Skull, under X-Force is fucking lit. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Red Skull, Master of Hydra, under X-Force is lit. Like, let me just play this dude, and he helps out the secure game in the ways Honey Badger never could. Like, it really does. Like, whoo! Cowboy Wolverine
and you can re-roll your shield too.
And you can re-roll your shield. Red Skull, Master of Hydra under X-Force. That is the next. Anybody trying to play X-Force, give it a shot. You'll thank me later. And that's also like a thing coming up though,
until it becomes meta.
Until it becomes meta.
Starts complaining about it. What do you do then?
But that's the thing though, is like, okay, and this is like I keep forgetting about it, but I keep thinking about like, I lost it. Anyways, going on to the next topic. But it's like we start thinking about things, and it's like, wow, I am totally brain farting right now. I had a really good thought, and it keeps popping up as we discuss. Then I'm like, I gotta remember to talk about this, and then it disappears.
All right. I got 2 things. I got a short
one
and a
go
long
ahead.
one. If you remember it, you just interrupt me because I
right.
wrote mine down because I have to keep these timestamps now. So I tend to write down my spare thoughts too, so I can come back.
I just
to
ramble. I just ramble and screw your timestamps up now.
We are the tip of the spear, and I don't mean like me and Dylan. I mean like literally all of us. You are listening to a Crisis Protocol podcast. You are the tip of the spear. You care about this game. You care about playing it. You have fun doing it. You want to be better at it. But seriously, you have so much more experience with this game than so many other people. I don't care if you're great at it, bad at it, terrible at it, just here to paint, just here to hang out, like whatever you're doing, you are the tip of the spear for this game. So that means that when you have an innovative idea, that means that you are breaking ground someone else probably hasn't before. That's right. Run with it. See what it does. Get the reps in. See what happens. If you are talking about the game, you might be the first point of contact for the game. That might be the very first thing. Oh, Joey, if you're hearing this, you are the resistance. That's right. You guys are. Like, it's us. It's us against the world. But seriously, like, this is the tip of the spear. You are on the cutting edge. You're not on Facebook. You're in the Discords. You're not on Reddit. You're in the Discord. You're hanging out in a Twitch chat. You are live with this game, breaking new ground right now. Like, that's just a commitment that you've made to some extent. And that's why I think, at least for me, when the conversation goes sour, when people don't want to experiment because, XYZ is better than ABC, or if anything crops up in our environment, like, it hurts me personally because of how much time I have put into trying to excel at this game, trying to be better at it, and to some extent trying to share that with everybody. And I think that's something that is easy to miss in our own echo chamber, is that this entire podcast echo chamber, content creator echo chamber, Discord echo chamber, and any innovation that happens inside or out of that, that is us being the tip of the spear. So the only people that are a part of the tip of the spear that we don't know are the people that aren't telling us anything because they're nowhere. They're literally in their basement doing the same kind of innovation, beating up on their friends. Because I don't know about your store, but Crisis Protocol stuff just keeps flying off the shelves. And we got 3 stores in my town. I see like 12 people somewhat regularly. There's no way that 12 people are buying all that product. I've seen what most of them are playing. I've seen what most of them buy. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on being the tip of the spear. Do you remember your thought?
No, it's gone forever, probably. But I just want to get back to like mental attitude and like actually community building. Like in these Discords and on Facebook, Like, let's try to be positive. Let's try to like actually be encouraging for the game instead of the whole, well, Mal's just gonna shit on that, or why aren't you playing Sam? Like, encourage people to like try different things. Like, that's why I love like these dojo channels that we have. It's just always like encouraging thoughts, like, hey, did you try this? Hey, did you try this? It's that love of like the old like affiliation specific Discord. I say like way too much. But anyways,
I'm the Valley Girl here.
that's fair. But it's, I'm trying to like not say it, and it's like stopping my thought process. But like the dojo, it's like, but it's those negative, not negative. I was reading what Barncat said, and I said negative. I said something once that wasn't negative, and Sam shit on me. Wow. Okay. To be fair, Barncat is, we have a special relationship with the one called Barncat, and I think anytime Barncat says something, one of us just has to shit on it. Like, we love you, Barncat. We really do. Even when you were talking shit on Malekith and me diverting to the plague. Joey Ed saying 1000% coming in with problems and never bringing solutions. Shocked my beans to the core. That was funny though. And that was the name of like the general channel for probably like a month and a half. We need a new name for the general channel.
That was an honor. That was an honor, not a slight, if that's what we're talking about.
The good old times. But okay, so that's the thing though. It's like the good old times. What was different about the good old times is people were trying to figure out the meta. Wow, this episode is all over the place. Like, pew 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 pew.
Everything was right with the world. Thanos was the boogeyman, and like we'd all come to accept it. Like that's what was different.
Fair.
Then they had to go and restrict the gems, and now everybody's like, "What do we do?"
But like on
Find
Joey's
the next most broken thing.
On Joey's comment is coming in with problems and never bringing solutions, and like that's like be a problem solver, not a problem inducer. We all know what the problem is. We know that extracts are an issue, and Malekith/Sam. Those are like the biggest issues at the moment. Okay, so what do we do to solve it? Like, I'm tired. I'm so tired of conversations that are literally just like just play this. That's not helping. That's not helping at all. Like,
yeah.
Like, okay, well, I tried this, this, and this, and like collaborate. Yeah, collaborate with each other on how to solve the issue. We said this on the Malekith episode. Like, talk about it. Talk about the game. Talk about like how to do things. Man,
the solutions to the problems in this game are so consistent. Like when you went through your list of like ways to shut down Malekith, it's like it's the same checklist for Black Order, which is basically the same checklist for any sort of attrition like roster. Like it's there. My point, going back to earlier points, is it's a lot of roster concessions. You have to make concessions to beat that stuff, or you have to like choose pieces that allow you to do that. And you know what? Maybe it's your time to shine, not just, Avengers fan people, but also people who are, I just love playing, Storm, Thor, and Crimson Dynamo because
all the lightning, shock everybody. You're gonna shock those beans. Shock the beans.
Right? Turns out Captain Marvel's my favorite Marvel character ever. And you're like, wow, so you got shock and stagger? Like, dude, you're in a pretty good place right now. Let's talk.
Yeah. But like you got Strax Midnight in the chat saying people complaining, they complain some energy vampires. Absolutely. And that's what it is. And like I'm not gonna lie, like the Discords have honestly made me really just I haven't played a game in probably 2 weeks. And then before that was Nova. So I've played probably a total of one game since I've played one game since Nova. Other than shadow boxing and testing out Suns. So it's I don't know, like it's the literal conversations that are happening that is what's killing the game for me. So if we want this game to survive and actually like get somewhere, is we need to have positive conversations. We need to discuss ways to beat the boogeyman, how to play the game in a way that we actually enjoy. And I've actually been reinvigorated by the Suns posse. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm going to call like Joey and everybody else the Suns posse. I've played 2 games since NashCon myself. But it's like that's the state of the game that we're looking at. Is there so much negativity that why are you gonna want to play a game that has negativity surrounding it? I look at my local metas chat and it's like super positive, like talking about what they're gonna play. They're super excited about Sentinels, super excited about different things, and all sorts of stuff like that. And they're positive, but I just haven't had the time to get out and actually play at the game store.
I'm a little jelly. I'm a little jelly of that because I feel like a lot of my personal discontent with Crisis Protocol has happened because of my local's experience.
But which, I don't know. I feel like a lot of like the atmosphere and attitude is because of the conversations surrounding the game. You know what I mean? Like that's what it comes down to.
100%.
If we can be positive and build the community instead of tearing it from the inside out, then this game will survive.
Yeah.
The issue is we start being negative like this, we're pushing away people who are trying to get into it, who come into a conversation that's like, why are you gonna do that when Mal just shits on everything? Why are you gonna play that?
So greedy.
Yeah.
Gamers, like we are so greedy as a collective. Like literally, this model came out 50 days ago, 45 days ago, and it's like the whole world is ending. The game is over. You can't do anything except for Splash Malik. But it's like, hold on, we got 20 days. We're gonna have a whole nother release that's gonna change everything again. Like the game is not over. There's things in the pipeline. Things are changing. Things are shifting.
Oh, like, things are absolutely changing.
You don't live in the future. You live right now.
I tell you what, Hydra and Red Skull and these Sentinels, they're gonna change the game. But you know what's gonna happen is people are still gonna be talking about Malekith. People are still gonna be talking about Sam because that is the status quo.
Throwing a size 5 Sentinel does not thrill me.
Bring Brace, bring Indomitable. I think the Sentinels are. I think Sentinel Prime is freaking cool as shit. I love Sentinel Prime. One absolutely mad. Our new Hydra Master soon. I honestly think that's the coolest part about this game is every single month the meta shifts slightly. However, we see all this stuff of like Sam is still the top. Malekith is still the top. People are still going to be talking about Sam Fingerguns. But you know, but that's the thing though, is it's like we see all this talk and people like new stuff comes out, but people can't like go look at other things. It's still Sam. It's still that. Like Hydra just came out. Like Hydra Strucker came out, and I think Strucker's great for the meta. But the issue is people are so like Malekith and Sam, and that's like what people are focused on. So why don't we just freaking get off our dead asses and play something new and exciting, or play something old and exciting, play something different, because we all start net listing, we all start doing this thing and following the status quo, and that's going to make the game boring. Play something different. That is what I am asking the community and people to do, is play something other than Malekith Cabal or Sam Wilson. Because when I look at a Launch Hanks event and I literally see nothing but 8 people playing, 8 out of like 12 playing Malekith, Cabal, and Sam Wilson Avengers, all I see is net listing and nobody like actually thinking for themselves and thinking that they have to play these to be competitive. I literally almost lost a game at a local event because somebody played Midnight Suns, which is like shit on all the time.
That's my favorite stuff in this game. That is my favorite stuff in this game, is when you like come into that guy that's like I'm sure I've told all my red card story before, but I had a good friend that played Magic. He sat down in a tournament and the guy in front of him pulled out like a stack of cards. It was so large. He just pulled it all out of a box and started shuffling it up. My buddy was like with his super tuned, like super fancy roster deck. He's like, oh, what's that? All my red cards. I love it when all my red cards can win. Like that is so cool. And even if it doesn't win, if it's like scary and frightening, like that's what makes this game for me. It's so many ways.
Okay, I finally remembered my point. I remembered my point I was going to make earlier.
Yes.
There is so much variance in this game. There is not a meta king. There is so much. I'll say it again. There is so much variance in this game. There is never going to be a meta king. We may think there's a meta king with Sam Wilson and Malekith, but there's going to be the one game where you're going against Corvus Glaive and he just fucking nukes everybody, and the Malekith list that should have won it all dies because of variance. I mean, tell me. It's a perfect example though. Like I spent over 100 games preparing that list. I spent so much practice time, and I didn't lose to strategy. I didn't lose to tactics. I didn't lose to anything like that. Fair. But like, what put the nail in the coffin?
Definitely lost the dice though.
I fucking lost the dice, and variance is so high in this game that like there can't truly be a king, because anything can win in this game because of the amount of variance. And what do you do in that case? Well, I try to limit my variance, and that's why Sam is actually really, really good, because he limits your variance that's going on.
Yeah.
Depending on how you build your list.
It's a different kind of variance, right? Like, he
yeah.
gives you an insurance policy to bad variance. It's not like Corvus, who's like literally trying to fix your variance, or Malekith, who's trying to like use failure to like boost it to success. It's Sam, where it's like, well, I guess your day's my guy, so I'm gonna. I get agency on
scenario now, but that's the thing though, is like I could like literally go to an event and win with the X-Force because variance was on my side that day. Like,
yeah, we can talk about Sam and Mal, but like this is not Sam versus Mal. We do not live in Sam versus Mal land. We live in a world where people know that Mal is strong and people know that Sam is strong, and so they bring those and they bring other strong characters. And you know what? More power to you. If that's the game you want to play, if that's what you want to do, what are your expectations for the tournament that day? Are you trying to practice for that event? I mean, I'd argue that like really you don't need a whole lot of practice with Sam Avengers to be decent at it. Like, what do you do with a small move when your opponent doesn't want you to have anything? Oh, cool. I got this. Like, it's not Sam versus Mal. There are definitely things that are easier than other things to play in this game. I personally find a lot more enjoyment out of playing things that I want to play, or that I think are enjoyable to play, or allow me to express myself in some way where I think like, wow, I don't think people have thought about this in the current environment. I think it's actually got good matchups into a lot of the field. I'm going to see what happens with this and see where it goes. So it's not Sam versus Mal. It's really easy for us to degenerate the conversation into Sam versus Mal.
All right. I think we've talked enough about this, and I think we've have we? I don't know. We could honestly go on. We could go all night about this. I will say I want to hit this last. I want to hit this last scene for me personally, and that's like the new things.
Perfect.
And that is the fact that like there's always new things changing with this game. Don't get sucked into like same old hat. Like try the new things. Try the old things. Just like again, innovation is key. Being able to go through and like bring stuff back to life is great. It's great for the game, because I get a new release in the game, like something like Red Skull, and that's going to literally change like how I look at a certain list. The meta is changing every single month with every release.
Yep.
And that makes it so that way like there's never the same. You got people in the chat right now. You got like Spider Foes made top 8 in TTS, 2 Web Warrior teams as well. Everyone thought they were dead, and players like Shane and Mad Alex got them pretty far. Joey Ed saying Spider Foes is my next. Strikes Midnight saying I always love Spider-Man. Like that's the conversations that need to be happening. Like this is what needs to happen to build the community, not destroy it.
Yes, these are our conversations.
Yeah. God.
These are the conversations that are worth having with each other.
Yeah, because why am I going to want to go and have a conversation that's literally the same conversation for the past fucking 2 months? Like, I'm so tired of it. And this is what makes me not want to talk in the Discords. It's the same conversation. Like, stop shitting on people for trying to have a conversation about what works when you're just going to say Malekith is better. Like, or play Sam because Sam's better. Like, it just shits on people, and it makes them not encouraged to try and do anything about it. Like,
so I considered saying like, don't shit on people for playing Malekith and don't shit on people for playing Sam rosters as well, because like that's another part of our problem in the community. But like ultimately, it comes down to one common denominator in that entire conversation, which is don't shit on each other.
Remember the Ronin help you gave?
Super hard.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Like Barncast says, remember the Ronin help you gave. It's all about talking about actually encouraging conversations. And we have these rail-headed conversations. And that's all I ever freaking see
Yeah.
is a rail-headed conversation. The state of the game right now isn't because of what AMG is doing with the characters. It's not because of what's going on. It's because of the fucking community. Tell me I'm wrong.
No. And, another thing. So, like, I'm going to call us out, collectively for a second, like all of us, like content creators, but, starting with us here. You just said that you've played, like, no games since Nova?
Yeah.
Effectively?
Well, I had one game. I had one game since Nova.
Okay. One game since Nova. I have played maybe 5.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, that's 5 games. I think that people put a lot of credit in content creators' hands and say, hey, like, you guys know what you're talking about because you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort, you're doing this, you're doing that. But, like, at the end of the day, a lot of what we're saying is opinion. And we strive on this show to talk about things that we understand from experience. But, like, as just content creators in general, I think you might be surprised at how little some of your favorite content creators might actually play this game.
Yeah, don't listen to us. We don't know what we're talking about currently.
in both directions.
I mean, it comes back to what we always say. We always say, fucking don't listen to content creators. Create your own opinion about the game. Create your own opinion about a character. You can listen to content creators for that, like, subjective opinion, for that overall arcing opinion, because maybe they do have more games played. Maybe they have more things going on at that moment. But, like, the majority of the time, the opinion whose matters about a certain character is your opinion about a character. Like, Sam may think that, oh, God, character. Who's your character of the month right now? Or character of the week? I don't care. Who's your character that you're hot on right now?
Torch. I'm all over Torch right now.
So you're all over Torch, and I think Torch is a hot piece of shit.
He's not. He does have 2 missing defense, which creates a really interesting situation.
But that's the thing, though, is like I've not played Torch at all. I haven't even touched Torch.
But so you said that, and if someone only listened to that 10 seconds of our show, then they'd be like, "Shit, Torch sucks."
Yeah,
you said Torch sucks. It's over.
But this is the thing, though, is it's all about bringing. I that was not my honest opinion of Torch. I think Torch is actually pretty cool. I want to like clear the room real quick. But it's like that's the thing that we see happening in the fucking community is you see one content creator or you see an opinion of, oh, I played over 50 games with XYZ character and this is the way it is. And people just eat it up and they're like, this is it.
Yeah.
Build your own opinion. That is like when we say don't listen to content creators, we don't mean like don't listen to content creators. We mean build your own opinion. Take all the subjective ideas, take all these different things, and build your opinion on the character that you love. Build the opinion on the character that you want to play. Don't just like take what content creators or anybody on the internet says about a character, because who knows, they might be fucking wrong. Man, I am super hot this episode.
I love it. Hey, so we got some people in the chat talking about dropping podcasts. 2 things. Number 1, if you are trying to fill a void in your podcast life, I would check out Strike Better. Morgan Reed and Ryan Farmer and other Mike have some really great perspectives that they like to share on the game. And I would definitely recommend checking them out if you haven't heard of them or aren't already. This most recent episode that they did is about how to practice better. And it's spot on. I would also suggest that when you're looking at like podcast feeds, my favorite episodes are the ones that have guests. When they bring somebody else on, it's like everybody's on their best behavior. So always, and that you're getting a different level of insight than the people that come back around all the time. Oh yeah. Yeah. Right. Here we go. More, right? Positivity, right? So we were talking about negativity. People in the chat were talking about podcasts they dropped because of negativity. Now we're positive again. We got people talking about the podcasts that they love and the ones that they want to listen to. So that's solid. I would say that the most recent episode of The Danger Room is rock solid. It's a really fun experience of the 3 of those guys built in rosters and trying to play characters that they want to play and that they love. So,
well, another one.
Not everything is all bad all the time.
Another one that just came out is you have if anybody like played War Machine, like Jaden from what is it called? League of Souls, something like that. Legend of Soul. I can't remember what it's fucking called. But they have a new podcast out called Dune Prophecy. And I really enjoy that podcast actually because it's a newer podcast. It's somebody who has really good like quality for their podcast. And they're not like so sunken into like these mindsets and all this different thing. We got Barncat in the chat. Danger Room has awesome content, and I'm a big Mike D fan. Wait, Mike D. Mike D's on Strikes Better. Oh, DeLuca. They're both Mike D. They're literally both Mike D, okay? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I talk to DeLuca all the time.
That's fair.
They're both Mike D. I'm like, what are you talking about, Mike? Like, I look at like DeLuca is DeLuca to me. Like, I don't like
right.
Yeah. Did it used to have something to do with them? You're not wrong. Danger Room hasn't been the same since they stopped talking about X-Force every week. Shit.
Let me say one last thing on content creating in general. I love all of my fellow content creators. There's something very special to having the nerve, gumption, and narcissism to walk out there and say, I know how to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about it for at least an hour a week. And it's to be appreciated. I would like the general conversation to be a lot more positive than it has been over the past.
But it's like, I think the thing is, I agree with that. Like everybody who has a podcast, I think is actually worth listening to. Sometimes it can be a little bit egregious. Sometimes it can be a little bit too much for what you'd like. I'm sure this episode is going to get a lot of hate because of how hot and fiery it's been compared to our normal episodes. But I feel like it's a worthwhile conversation. Sam didn't want to talk about this. Let's be completely honest. Like Sam did not want to talk about this. And I was like, let's try to paint it positive. But I feel like we've been actually rather negative lately. Oh, we've been negative and then like little sprinkle of positive, and then negative and a little bit of sprinkle of positive. But it's hot and fiery and a Nova blast from Torch.
I paid 7 power for this shit.
But okay, so
I'm about to daze myself.
Yeah. But it's literally like, I don't know. I felt like it was a conversation that needed to be had. And I think Danger Room's episode this week was actually extremely similar. They're very much like, let's talk about the state of the game, what's going on, what we can do differently. But it's a worthwhile conversation to be had at the moment because of the
Have
fact
it with
that
your group, like a social contract.
Yeah, it's an interesting place to be right now. I don't think anybody should like quit the game. I don't think anybody should like just give up on it. No. I see a lot of conversations about people being like, I'm just done with Marvel right now because of XYZ. Like, that's not the attitude to have. Like, the attitude of just giving up, like sure, you can like take a hiatus for a minute, come back if you're not having fun with it at the moment, because that's the whole point of it. It's a freaking game. Have fun. And I think that's like, I feel like that's like the philosophy that like the majority of people are like starting to lose, is like, you're playing a game that you paid money for. Why are you like, play it to have fun? And that should be the reason why you're playing it. Not because like XYZ, you want to play because B-Terra game. Maybe it's confined to certain communities. I don't see the same amount of negativity in my local scene. Everyone just seems happy to play. My worst day of playing MCP is better than a day at work. From Barncat. So both of these comments are so B-Terra says like maybe it's confined to certain communities. I feel like it's primarily the online community, like where people are talking about the game. And there's always a thing that like the negative naysayers is always louder than the content view. Right? Like people who are going to be having negative content or comments about the game are always going to be louder than the people who are okay with how it is. So it's kind of like no jive. Okay. That's from that's from Joey. Joey sent you a sticker, but he didn't send me stickers.
I asked him.
He should just know that I want stickers. He should just know. I was actually, I'll talk to you later about this. Anyways.
Content Kathy's. Content Karens. I'd like to speak with your manager.
Yo. Anyways, I think it's about time we move on from all this talk. I think it's been fun. I think it's been a worthwhile conversation. It's been very heated on my end. I got pretty DM that address. I got you. I got you. I think it's been a very worthwhile conversation. Go ahead and come into our Discord. The link will be in the description. And there's a feedback channel. And if you want to just call us a bunch of buffoons and this was a worthless episode, feel free to let us know. If you'd like to let us know that it was worthwhile. And actually, I was going to send beer, but y'all never replied to my beer questions. We're going to fucking get to it, Barncat.
We're not there yet. We're a long form show, sir. Long form show.
If you would like to see more Sassy Dyzard, let us know in the feedback section. Sassy Dyzard, 2 thumbs up. Let's go. All right. Moving on. We got sales pitch of the week. Shit. I put my name down and then I don't actually think about it. Come to be negative in the Discord. Our Discord is actually extremely positive, to be completely honest. I don't think I like our Discord a lot right now. That's probably the only place that I conversate other than Omnis's patron Discord, because of the fact that I actually enjoy the conversations. Just give D's a, you know what grinds my gears segment. Btera, if we gave me a segment of you know what grinds my gears, that would probably be 45% of the episode. Because we kind of already have that. But Sassy Diz has been great. Just tell Strikes Midnight that I need to make sure to have 2 sour monkeys every episode, and then you'll get Sassy Diz. Anyways, moving on. Better than the old.
All I heard is I'm going to have to start pre-gaming to keep up.
I just finished off my sour monkey, and I'm kind of I really want one of my other beers. I'm out of sour monkey. I kind of want another beer to keep this train rolling. But I don't want to leave and go downstairs to the fridge because I don't have a mini fridge in my office like you do.
Hey, priorities. That's all I have to say.
If I had my excess beverage up here, poor baby. I mean, if
I smell a Christmas present. That's all I'm saying.
Sad life. I mean, if you're so inclined to, if you would like to run downstairs and grab me one of those other beers, it would be much appreciated. Anyways, so sales pitch of the week. I actually did not think this through. I put my name down here, and I forgot that I put my name down here and didn't think about what I want to put for this. It's a tax write-off, but that's business expense. All right. Let me think.
Can confirm.
Who do we have up here? Who do we have?
Maybe Miss Marvel. Give me some Miss Marvel love.
I haven't played Miss Marvel since she was first spoiled, and I didn't appreciate Marvel. Misappropriate the Discord patron money. I'm addicted to Amazon shopping, aren't we all? Amazon's the devil, I tell you what. All right, let me get on with this this sales pitch of the week. I'm trying to think of something that's good, but
you need something like Miss Marvel.
I don't play Miss Marvel that often. Who am I looking at with my son's list? I have my son's list pulled up right here. Give me one.
There you go. Pick one of those. Moon Knight.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna fucking talk about Prime because Prime is fucking sick. And this is kind of a hot take. Hot take alert.
How many games? How many games you got with Prime?
It's all Optimus Prime. It's all shadow boxing games. I haven't played a game against somebody since I played Mountain Blast. All right. But it's still shadow box games. I fucking love Prime though. Who do you want to let me get myself some better than Shuri rerolls because I can reroll for myself. His builder is so insane. So, you take your headphones off. Am I talking too loud? I'm sorry. Prime shipping is the best. All right, Sentinel Mark IV Prime. That's who we're talking about here. Okay, so his builder is insane. I can play +3 power to get an 8-die builder. That's amazing. And his spender is actually really good too. I'm gonna pay, what is it, 4? I don't have the card in front of me right now at the moment. Is either 4 or 3? 4 or 3 power. Let me pull this up. It's the SL spender. It's 3. Okay, cool. So 3 power to be able to put Incinerate, Slow, or Shock. Some of the best conditions in the game currently to put on, let's say, Malekith for each wild. Not one, and you have to choose one. It's literally for each. I'll get you a beer. I don't want to be on a camera right now, though. You're fine. You don't be on camera. It's pointed this way. Anyways, Or you can just like open the door and I'll reach over and everybody can see me reach over and grab it. You got to read it. I did read it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Anyways, but Sentinel Prime, you have rerolls that he can reroll for himself. The +1 through 3 for his builder. His spender that gives literally like shock, slow, or incinerate, which are great conditions. He's got the pull cables, which are awesome, and they balanced it for once, where it's like I'm gonna do it once per turn instead of being able to pull the world. When Prime just like generates power like a freaking god. Like if you want someone to fund your follow me or fund like your tactics cards, Prime is a huge funder. Ricardo's last slide too, which is big. Absolutely. Like it's not like Omega Red where he can like pull medium as many people as he wants, but like Omega Red doesn't generate power like Prime does. Prime generates amazing amounts of power. Cool thing about Prime is his rerolls. He generates 2 power when he ends his activation. So you're guaranteed to have at least 2 rerolls going into like somebody else's attack. Like I love Prime's rerolls the most of anybody's rerolls in the entire game. Like because the fact that he generates 2 power at the end of his turn. So he's going to generate that 2 power and be able to fund 2 rerolls. I love Prime. And also because he's a size 4. Oh wait, he's size 5, right? Size 5? The Age of Sentinels one. So he's size 5. So not many people can actually influence his positioning. Like Prime is freaking solid. Like if I had said who like is like changing the meta currently, it's gonna be Prime. Like Prime is gonna change the meta as is, and you're gonna see Prime splash a lot, or you should see Prime splash a lot because of the fact that he has so much agency on scenario. He has so much agency on attrition. He's got freaking 18 health. Like he's a big boy. And you can't move him unless you're like throwing with or pushing with an attack because he can't be affected by superpowers or mystic. Like, hello. Like he's super freaking solid on where he's going to be. So the only way you're going to be throwing that big boy is with somebody who has a size unlimited throw. Like Prime is amazing. Thank you, baby. Oh, 2. I don't need 2.
Says you.
Says me. I love you. All right. And as always, I will not edit this out of the actual podcast because
yes.
I just... Oh, good times. Good
Dyzard
times.
loves his wife. News at 11.
I mean, yeah. All right. I think that's good enough for. I think that's good enough for Prime. I kind of think I talked the socks off. Like I don't know if you haven't played Prime yet in testing or proxying, play Prime. Also, absolute coolest part about this thing is opposable joints. Like that is so freaking cool. Where have you ever in a miniatures game seen something that comes from the box with opposable joints? How fucking cool is that? Rogue Agents beer helmets. Let's look at it. But like
I want mine in Sentinels colors.
In Sentinels colors. And it's huge. Like honestly, like I love Prime. I don't care so much for like the Mark IV Sentinels, but I love Prime. He is like amazing. Warjacks for Rhett and War Machine. Okay, you got me there. Anyways. They had ball and sockets. Okay.
But it's been a while. So what does your Prime look like? What do your Mark IVs look like? That's awesome.
Jazz hands. These
are going to be different. They're going to be different on the table like all day.
And you can change it.
So great.
And you can change it. Yeah, just jazz hands. Like I want jazz hands. I want jazz hand Sentinels all across the table. All right. There's my sales pitch of the week. Fucking Prime. He's super fucking cool. All right. Hobby Corner. Accountability Club. I have Shameless on here, but that was from last week. Don't forget it's too late to submit new goals because of the fact that like that was last week.
Your goals are done. October sheet is open though. So this is one of the things that we're gonna, because Accountability Club is a work in progress at all times, just like all of our paint jobs. I'm going to start closing the current month and opening the next month at the same time. So basically on the 15th of the month, I'm going to...
Barcat, you only get kicked out after 3 months of non-participation starting now. Like, well, starting
September,
last week. Yeah.
October, November. Yeah. Right? So if you don't submit a goal for October or November, yes, you're gonna.
Okay,
get
you know what?
But, like,
I'm gonna do this right now because we need some fucking motivation in accountability club. All right, I have a good buzz going, and I'm just gonna fucking spill the beans. The reward.
Nice. Okay, fine.
The reward for being
Wait, don't
accountability
do
club.
it! Don't do it! Stop! Don't do it! It's not worth it.
The first reward we are doing for accountability club, and we're still working on it. This is why it hasn't been done yet.
It's not finalized. We know what we want, but we don't know how to make it happen yet.
Yeah.
It's been really hard to find something that we can do like at a price point that's functional.
Yeah.
Like in the quantity that we need.
I think the cheapest I found it is like $30 a mug for like actually being able to do what we need.
Is it a mini fridge? Well, that's eating up the budget, but
but imagine for me, if you will, a mug, a good sized mug that has a picture of the Thanos emoji that we have in the Discord and on the Twitch stream, and then a couple paintbrushes, and it says "Drinking me is inevitable," and that is the first mug club reward.
Mug club,
accountability club reward. The mug club. Yeah. Anyways, but hopefully that's some like incentive for people to actually do accountability club. But that is going to be the reward. One that we can drink out of and wash our brushes when. Absolutely. At the same time, because like I
mean that's on you. That one's on you.
Raise your hand if you've drinking out of your paint mug. Absolutely. I have like a Seahawks. This has been like my paint cup for like the past I don't know how many fucking years, and it is covered in paint. And I have drinking out of this cup.
Amen. I'll do you one better. Raise your hand if you've drank out of your paint cup and not realized it the first time.
Yeah. All right. Now, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you raised your hand while listening to an audio podcast for no reason.
Crap.
I did that on accident one time and spit it out. You didn't tell me about that. Strikes midnight. All right. So cool. We all know the big secret now that Accountability Club actually has a reward when we can finally figure it out. The only way that you're going to be able to get this reward is if you have, 3 consecutive months of actually completing your goals.
6 months. 6 months of completed goals.
6 months of completed goals, which I don't think anybody's actually
consecutive. Well, I don't think we haven't been in existence long enough for that to happen yet.
Well, that's why I say nobody's actually there.
We have a few people who are still live.
So hopefully by the time we hit the 6 months, we actually have this figured out where we're getting it from. But just so I'm
not one of them.
Neither am I, because I fucking forgot to submit the form one time.
Clear. Yeah.
But in all reality, if hopefully this is some incentive to join the accountability club, because you're gonna get a sick ass mug that is literally like the Thanos emoji, and drinking me is inevitable. We've been having this hope and dream since the beginning of accountability club. We've just been trying to figure out where to do it. That's there you guys go. There's a little spoiler for you. All right, moving on. Challenge of the week. We got Sam. What do you got for challenge of the week?
Challenge of the week. Man, I had some great ideas. You know what? I want to see your best Punisher roster. I want to play some casual Punisher. And I played a casual Punisher roster a while back that included Thanos and Ghost Rider, and that was if I could play Thanos, Ghost Rider, and Punisher, I did. That was like rule number 1 with it. So it's still a bit of a boogeyman, so you don't need to worry about stuff like that. I just want to see what you would do if you were going to run a Punisher roster, because I want to see some cool Punisher rosters. He's unaffiliated. You can be any affiliation that you want to. You can be wholly unaffiliated. I don't care.
All right.
I just want to see what you do.
Cool. So Punisher roster, it is in the Discord. Challenge of the week. If you need to join the Discord to participate in these challenge of the weeks, the link is in the description of the podcast. Or you can just message me, because I'm freaking in every single Discord. And I'll give you the link for the Discord. Cool.
You are pretty easy to find.
I am pretty easy to find. It's a very unique name. Just look for the person talking about X-Force or Malekith or currently Midnight Suns. Punisher, Mal, and Sam Wilson. There we go. Perfect. All right. If that's you, that's fine. Listener questions. This one's from last week because it came out during while we were recording, and I didn't see them actually ask it. From
Ooh.
Omnis Protocol himself, Charles,
Ooh.
aka Omnis. Who is your favorite character that you struggle to fit into rosters? Cable. Because I love Cable. I love the sculpt of Cable, and I love Cable from the comics. Like I love playing Cable too in the game. Like he's such like a heartbreak. Like Seahawks. Anybody who understands football, like my stepdad calls the Seahawks like a heart attack team. Like they will literally like play to the last minute, and then like even look at their game fucking last week against the Broncos, literally playing to the last minute, and like just right there. Like Cable is like that heart attack character where it's like, am I gonna roll fucking good on this one? We'll see. Like,
am I set for the game? Am I set for the game? Nope. Didn't even get the incinerate.
But yeah, Omnis, for sure, 100% Cable. I love Cable so much as a character in the comics. I love Cable's like thing. I love Cable. Go Hawks. Let's go, dog. I have hope. I have hope this year. Anyways, what do you got? Who's your favorite character? While you're talking about this, I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
Just walk away. It's fine.
Yeah, just walk away real quick.
Loki's my boy. I want to fit Loki into everything because I love the way that he matches up into things, and so Loki is in rosters where maybe some people might say he doesn't belong, but he's also the 11th character in every roster that he's not in for me. I prefer him without a gem for what that's worth. I really like to run myself a 4-threat Loki. I think that he's really fun that way. It's an interesting spot to fill because one of those fantastic negative comments that comes out about the game is that maybe 4-threats aren't in a great place across the board. And I think that outside of a few standout pieces, of which I consider Loki one, that might not be a completely off basis critique of the game, but at the same time, Loki winds up being my 11th character in any roster that he's not in, and I definitely jam him into places where he's not supposed to fit.
I love Loki. All right, cool. Next question. Where are we at? I pulled up the wrong page. Okay, Barncat, can we talk more about beer? Barncat, you need to work on your sentence.
Please?
You need to work on your sentence structuring. Can we talk more about beer more often? More only goes into a sentence once. So can we talk about beer more often? I was drunk at the time. Fair enough. I'll
more
accept
fun,
that.
more better.
More fun, more better.
Fun, more better.
No, more fun, more better. More fun, more better. All right. So.
Oh, I'm in.
All right. So if we want to talk about beer more often, maybe we can do like during the hot takes, cold beers or something like that, or cold drinks. We could do like an alcohol fact of the week. That could be fun. This is how this show works. You know, we just come up with random ideas in the middle of an episode. So random alcohol fact of the week is Mirror Image on the Discord actually messaged me after the episode when I first brought up sours, telling me how the process of sours are done, because we were talking about how like a sour actually comes to be, and he's like, well, this is actually how it works. Strikes me, I'll have to get you a beer hat and put Rogue Agents on it. I mean, if we can get like Rogue Agents beer hats, I'm sure people would love them. But anyways, so he actually messaged me and he was like, I used to work or he does work. I don't remember now actually. Cause I had a game against him. Mirror Image is his name. And he knew a lot about beer, and sours are exactly what we thought they were. It's literally beer that had gone like past that fermentation state where they're like actually like fermented like for a longer period of time, and they start to sour and technically go bad. And that's how it gets that sour taste, is because it's bad. It's alcohol. And he was like, but the cool part is alcohol, so it kills all like the bad shit in it. I am absolutely paraphrasing here. This is not exactly the story, but you guys can look it up if you want to. So this will be our beer fact of the week. I think this will be a fun new segment to add. I can't do the super sour taste. It's so good though. Like I love those victory sours. I'm probably gonna be buying them, and it's like honestly, like hot takes cold beer is probably just gonna be a victory sour every single week for me, to be completely honest, because it's really good and it actually gives me a good like buzz, you know. I can't do the sour thing.
That's because it's strong.
It's strong. It's really strong. I need to try those sours. I can't. Okay, so Matt in the comments here, chat here said I need to try those sours. I got like 3 to like, no, it was 4 messages like shortly after that first episode of people sending me pictures of their victory sour. Like it's super freaking good. And the best part is like this 19 ouncer, like $3 for me. Like I can get one of those cans for $3. I can literally buy 6 of those for the same price. I can get a 12-pack or a 6-pack, which is like that's double a 6-pack almost. Anyways, let's move on from beer. Jacob from the Danger Room. Do we have to? No, we don't have to.
No, I don't have anything else to say, but it was fun.
All right, fair. Gold medal winner in the American style IPA category at the Great American Beer Festival in 2016. I don't know what that is. Cool. Sure. Yay. I don't know what that means. Odin's Cellar segment. I mean, that could be link above, fella. I don't click on links. I'm kidding. I'll click on it later. I'll figure out what it is. I don't trust. Yeah, it's a wiener. Are you from Minnesota? Anyways, the soda. Jacob from the Danger Room asks, why can't you remember Omnis? That's a very good question. On like when I did episode with Omnis this last week, it was rather funny because he was like, hey man, no hard feelings. Like it was actually really funny. I forgot what he said now. I have a terrible memory sometimes. Either my memory is really, really good or it's really, really bad. And most of the time it's really, really bad. You could ask Strikes Midnight anytime because I forget to do shit all the fucking time. All right. Real question now. Here we go. Not to devalue anybody's question from before. Quincy. So random question with a prevalent strategy being grab a high value or multiple extracts and run away. Should something be implemented to reduce this? Similar to how Killbox worked in War Machine or how you couldn't get momentum if you had the ball behind your own goal line in Guild Ball. Sam doesn't have any reference for any of these references because you didn't play Guild Ball or War Machine.
I didn't.
I remember this time. I didn't actually say you played War Machine when you did. That has happened. So the question really is being grab high value. So should basically something be implemented from the grab and run? I don't think so because I think it's a valuable strategy for the game. I think it actually makes some games interesting because I have a character that can grab and run this extract, and now what are you going to do about it? It presents a question. So being able to grab and run, especially in the current meta, is actually extremely valuable to have and be extremely valuable to try and do. Because like with like Midnight Suns list I'm doing is a lot of it is actually grab and run and using that bump and extra movement abilities to grab and run the extract. Sam, you know, when we started this episode, we were like, we might be able to hit 90 minutes this time.
I know, right? Negative.
It just can't happen. We are a 2-hour episode, apparently.
We are a 2-hour podcast.
Regardless of what happens. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
If you come for the pre-show, we are definitely a 2-hour cast.
Absolutely. All right. So
long-form show.
You know, but people love it. People have commented and nobody's complained about the length so far except for Jonah. I think Jonah complained once.
I love Jonah.
I love Jonah too. He's a great guy. Anyways, do you have any thoughts on this? Like grab and run plays? Like, do you think there should be a negative consequence for doing grab and runs?
I think that this is something we have to realize about Crisis Protocol. The developers want us to have grab and run strategies. Like, yeah, I'm done. No, but like more accurately, if you think that we need something like, I would highly recommend playing some original Human Torch. Have fun with that. That's crazy. That's a really interestingly costed and ranged ability from Voodoo, Enchantress, and Black Cat. You look at those three, and your closest analog is actually Miles, and that takes an action. It also rolls 7 dice at somebody on energy defense, but takes an action. Human Torch does not. Human Torch is a very, very interesting piece. And if you have any questions about grab and run strategies, I think you want to throw the Human Torch into your roster. He has some amazing lines of play, and you just want to get in there and see what he can do. Sometimes he dies. I would also add, I don't have any background in War Machine or Guild Ball, but X-Wing has a kill box where you basically would like try to set up all your ships so that they converged on a somewhat singular point. This is before they introduced objectives into X-Wing, is my experience with X-Wing. But at the same time, you can still create that kill box effect. Oh,
What was that?
This is
Your
my
watch. Your watch does that too.
Yes.
They just talk to
Yeah.
you randomly. They're listening.
Every now and then.
They're listening.
She thinks she heard the trigger word, and there she comes.
Well, what's crazy? Like we'll be talking about something completely like weird, and then we'll get a YouTube ad for it. Like we'll be watching YouTube, and like it's like the craziest thing ever.
Yeah, that's because they are always listening.
They are always listening.
Always there. Yeah. Yeah.
Strikes midnight in the chat. Mine does that all the fucking time.
You can turn it off. I usually do.
Well, hers.
I turned it on for a couple reasons last week.
Hers is turned off, and it still does it.
Oh, it's still listening.
Yeah, it still listens.
If you read the fine print on all of that, it's always still listening. Yeah. Killbox X-Wing. You just point all your ships at a target. You can apply some of that strategy to MCP, but it's not the same.
What would this be, but not a Rogue Agents episode, if I didn't derail a serious point? I need to find my my charger for my watch. I don't know where the hell it went to.
Oh no, that's bad. My watch.
Well,
I got like 2 days with my watch, and then it needs a recharge.
I have a Galaxy, and it doesn't do what your guys' silly Apple watches do, because Android is better. Come at me, bro. No. Anyways, moving on to the next question. Y'all are so off topic today. Strikes midnight. If you listen to us every single week, this is literally how it goes.
We are off topic, but on point.
All the time.
On brand. On brand? I don't know. Off topic, but on brand.
You need to listen to us more instead of just putting us on mute and making sure the chat's okay. She does a great job of moderating, but she doesn't listen to us. I feel like if she doesn't realize that we are always off topic. She only came here because she was promised.
No, Barca, that's why you're here.
Yeah, that's true. Whatever. I listen sometimes. Exactly my point. All right, moving on. Listener questions. Also, anybody in the Twitch chat, if you have a question, just go ahead and put it in there while we're going. We love answering questions. We love interacting with the audience, so it's super fun. Amen. All right. Speaking of Jonah, with the model count being so high right now, making it increasingly difficult to build for every eventuality. God, Jonah, I know you're a college professor, but could you like tone these words down? Because by the time we get to the listener questions, we're like knee deep. We're like knee deep into that buzz, and my brain is having a hard time comprehending what you're asking here. All right,
I'm gonna need a thesaurus busted out to fix like all of these sentences. I want even worse words in here.
All right. So Jonah, with the model count being so high now, making it increasingly difficult to build for every eventuality, do you think we'll see changes to roster construction? Maybe allowing for more characters, etc., or even allowing people to have 2 rosters in tournament settings and choose which they use the game. I'm going to default to my usual answer of I'm not the game developer, so I don't fucking know. But to answer your question seriously, I kind of hope so, to be completely honest. I really discombobulated. Wow. I am so ADHD right now. To answer your question, Jonah, I honestly actually hope so. I hope we get an expansion of like you're bringing 11. Even if it was 11 characters, that changes the game so dramatically. Or 12 characters. Or what if Battle Realms becomes the standard? Like I actually think roster construction could use a change in the fact of allowing more characters because of how many characters in the game. I'm so like lost sometimes in my roster construction. Like I want 12 slots so I can get everything that I want. But maybe that's bad for the game because of the fact that 12 slots could cover everything that I need to do. So maybe 10 slots is the perfect number because of the fact that I can't cover absolutely everything, but I can come close to covering everything. So maybe that's the thing that we need to look at is 10 slots is a good number for almost covering everything. And we need to take concessions at certain points. Sam,
I think
thoughts?
The more characters we get in this game, the less space there is in a roster. right? Like that's just like that's. I'm no math wizard, but like that's how percentages work. Kind of.
Right.
But basically, if there's 120 characters in the game and you get to pick 10 of them, you're getting less a slice of the field than when there's 200 characters and you're getting 10 of them. Or if they're if there's only 50 characters and you're getting 10 of them, you're getting a lot more, right? So I think personally, I don't want to see a 2 roster system for this game. I want to see crises adjusted in some way. Like if I got to like magic wand something, I would love to see that. I would love to see Panic and Herbs come back with some adjustments along with literally everything else in a print and play like thing. That's like, hey, we'll give you a card pack in 6 to 8 months. Here's the print and play. That would solve so many of my problems with my local players and with getting new players to come and play the game. Like you don't have to buy MODOK to get Alien Ship. Also, Alien Ship sucks now because it just like gives you poison and it's basically senators or like the other points don't go away. And if you roll a crit, you get to pick something else up. Like I would just love to see something adjusted on the Crisis front, and I would love to see it in a print and play format so that people could just access all of these crises instead of having to buy Mr. Sinister, who they never cared about, to get Legacy Virus. And so it goes.
All right.
I would also say, oh, okay, that's fine.
No, go ahead.
That a 2 roster format would increase the barrier to coming to play in a local event as opposed to decreasing the barrier, which is what I'd much rather see. That's all.
Absolutely. All right. I don't want to lose this question, but from the Twitch chat, we got B Terra Game. Thoughts on shouting at local events? We are for it. We actually have a channel in our Discord server that says shout out your local event. I think the most recent one is actually my local. My local was the recent one. We also have Joey shouting out a North Carolina one. So we have save the date from you. All right, so
right.
the ones we can shout out, we have save the date 10/22. October 22nd is what that means. LVOIS in Greenville, South Carolina. Sam is also saying that this is the final event of our token series.
Those our patrons get our tokens.
Those tokens are sweet. Those tokens are sweet. Sam gave me a whole bunch of them at Nova, and they are huge tokens. Like
I'm not saying you should fly into this event, but like it might be worth it.
Absolutely.
Unique.
All right. So October 22nd, Greenville, South Carolina. If you want more details, there is a launch links link in the tournament shout out section. I have the hiccups and it's really like bugging me.
Yeah, 10-1 in Atlanta. I'm going to that one. That's fine.
10-1. All right.
I haven't decided if I'm going to be like lame or if I'm going to try to be an innovator for that yet.
Be an innovator.
I haven't been lame all season. I want to be lame one time.
One time. You took Black Order in Nova, so get out of here.
You're kidding me, right? That is such terrible matchups, and everybody knows how to play against it now.
That's fair. All right. We got Joey Edge saying Saturday, October 8th in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So we got North Carolina, South Carolina. And then we got Battlegrounds in the Richmond, Virginia area, October 22nd. I'll probably be at this one if he wants to come and say hi. I missed this month. It was actually this last weekend, but we were looking at some stuff for like our future as like people, like Strikes Midnight and I. We were actually like looking at like some things. So I was busy that day. I missed our local. But anyways, Battlegrounds, RVA, October 22nd. I will be there this time.
Nice.
Anybody want to go, hang out, play games? Battlegrounds is a really good event. I know this personally speaking because I've done a couple of theirs. They stream their games. I'll put links up on this next one when it comes up. They use Best Coast pairings. They have some pretty cool tables going on, and like I think the last 2 events have been like 12 plus people. Joey actually drove up from South Carolina or North Carolina rather to Virginia to play in that event. But next month, October 22nd, Battlegrounds RVA. Come check it out. They do some really good stuff. Not sponsored, not affiliated, none of that stuff. I just like it's a really good store and they got really good tables.
What day is it?
October 22nd. You should come up.
That's when my event is in South Carolina.
Oh, god damn it.
Mine's an LVOIS qualifier if you care about that. It's also the last event for you to be able to get these tokens from us.
All right. So the 22nd, you have a choice. Go to South Carolina to play with Sam or come to Virginia.
Oh, no, I can't play. I'm not there. I'm not playing. I'll just be there.
All right. So the real choice
in line all day.
The real choice is come to Virginia to play against me. And I feel terrible because like both like the events that I've gone to for this like that local place, I took first. I feel terrible sometimes, but I'm going to be playing Suns probably.
You shouldn't feel terrible.
I
mean, you played Malekith. Like you should
I
feel.
Did play Malekith. Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the social contract, right? And like, there's two things, right? Because it's social contract and it's what were your goals for the day? You were on the Malekith.
I was there. So I was there to win,
right?
Well,
so you were there to win. And you were still playing Malekith. Like,
well,
mission accomplished.
The other event that I won when I went to that store, I won with X-Force, which was awesome. One of the Battleground store owners, one of the people that were like actually like is like a co-owner of the store, actually like loves X-Force and plays X-Force, and like I was paired up against them. It was an X-Force v X-Force game. Super awesome. Like honestly, if you want to come,
now that his Messiah has abandoned him.
Oh, I have no idea. Might make it a Battlegrounds. Joey, if you're there, I'll be there. Let's go, bro. 10-1.
Dang it, Joey. I thought you guys were coming to Greenville. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, we got one absolute Matt saying
test each other like this.
October 1st near Atlanta at Level Up Games. See you there, Sam. I think Matt's gonna come to your event.
No, we're both going to 10-1. I don't know if he's coming to mine. Knoxville's in a really weird spot to get to Greenville. Not to like dox you, Matt. Sorry. Oh, dang it. Then I just used your real name too. I'm so terrible. One absolute.
I mean, like his name,
awkward place to get to where I live.
His name on Discord is One Absolute Matt. So I always call him One Absolute Matt. That's like what I'm used to because I'm used to talking to him. Also, you know what? Here I'm gonna Matt. Give us a shout out. Where can people find you if they want to commission painting? Are you taking commissions at the moment? Because you are an absolute wonderful painter. And I love shouting at people when it happens. So just let me know if you have like a link or something like that, and I'll go ahead and post that because I encourage artists and stuff like that. All right. There was another question here in the Twitch chat that I wanted to hit before I lost it, but I already lost it. Where did it go? Oh, from Barncat. How are your Mal versus Mal mirrors? Were they as fun? All right, Barncat.
How many have you played?
I've actually not played it. No. I had one Mal versus Mal mirror.
Against Rich, right?
Yeah. So against Rich, I lost that game. He ran Mal, Modok, and somebody else that I can't remember at the moment. And I ran Mal, Mystique. I ran wider than he did.
Okay. Let me interrupt you because you have played how many games with Malekith? Roughly.
So it was like 125.
Okay, 125. How many of those would you say included a Malekith? And how many of those would you say included Malekith as the leader?
Like against?
Yeah.
So against Malekith and Malekith as a leader, probably less than 10 to be completely honest.
Yeah. And like so like the community is in arms and the negativity is everywhere and everybody's shouting about everything. But at the end of the day, a prolifically practicing Malekith player has played less than 10% of his games against another Malekith.
Yeah.
That is all.
Fair. All right.
I rest my case.
To answer the question, where did it go? I lost it again. Mal versus Mal mirrors. So it was fine. At the game against Rich, I was honestly just so burnt out on Mal. I was very much like, I don't want to play this game. And I think Rich was kind of at the same point of his Mal career. It's one of like those lunch soup salads, whatever they're called, events.
Yeah.
It was a really good game overall, to be completely honest. The other Mal against Mal, like the other against Malaga game that I can remember was it's very much a game of who has to commit first. Soup Sandwich is a game or a tournament that is typically like ran like every month, and it's like 3 rounds, winner takes all. Like no, there's no all, but it's just like on Lawn Shanks. I almost said TTS. TTS Lawn Shanks. It's typically ran every single month. Johnny Pastrami puts it on. He usually puts up links in like the tournament channel on the TTS server. But anyways, it was a good game, and the other game I played, it was very much a game of like who has to commit first, and that's the game of Malekith, is who has to commit first. And if you have to commit first, you're probably losing the game because you're putting yourself out there to try to score a scenario, and then the other person is going to just eat that character. And as soon as that attrition advantage is had, it kind of sets the stage for the game. It's very interesting matchup. You need a private jet to get to Greenville. That's fair. Okay, let's get back to listener questions. If there's any more from the Twitch chat, just go ahead and add us so that way we can see. All right, from Sure Thing. We're having fun. This is a long episode again. 2 hours. Here we go. We were expecting at most 90 minutes, but we've been it's all been valid content. I'm going to stop wasting time. Sure Thing. In our lull of extracts, what type of extract would you want to shake up the current world? How many points, shape, what threat, what mechanics? I want to see 19 threat. Give me Panic back. I want Panic. Like I loved the B-shape extract at 19. I loved it. It was one of my favorite to run. Even if I wasn't breaking it, I loved the B-shape at 19.
And you can only hold one.
And you can only hold one
of them. God, like, it's so fair.
Like,
except for how it isn't.
Out of all of like the egregious extracts that there have been, I think Panic was the least egregious. Like, you look at Herbs, you look at Legacy Virus, and you look at Panic. Like, Panic was probably the least egregious. Like, to be completely honest. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Like, the only, like, you could score 8 if you had all 4 citizens. Panic, you only have to get 3.
I have a problem. Like, I have a problem. I see something like Panic, and I go, how do I do this? So, like, in the chat, it's saying, unban Herbs, unban Panic, ban Legacy. But, like, okay, like, let's not ban Legacy. What if we just brought everything back? Like, so we're playing Extended, right? Like, it's way too easy to look at those crises on paper and say, I can do X, Y, and Z. That's the game. Herbs is a lot more of a proposition than Panic is, because Panic makes you just win out of the traditional win zone, right? So, like, you got to get to 16 points. Scoring happens in the cleanup phase. You can get a tremendous advantage on Herbs, but there are lots of opportunities to just straight attrition during an Herbs game that can do a lot of damage that might not be able to be stopped. Or maybe it will be. We're playing a dice game. Like, boom, dice just diced, and something happened. And that's the difference between Herbs and Panic, in my opinion. And so there was a lot of vocal disdain for Herbs plays in the community prior to its being banned. That was like, I'm so tired of talking about Herbs plays. And it's like, well, okay, but they're there. But all right, if that's what we're talking about, that's what we're talking about again. Fine. And Panic is far more egregious in that respect, in my opinion. And so,
but it was so much fun.
Hard, I love Panic games. I absolutely love them. I want to steal your thing, and then I'm going to back up, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. I love the interplay of like trying to get a civilian off of someone without like hitting that danger zone where like you're like, well, I tried to get it off you by beating you up, and I beat you up, but not quite enough. So now you have enough to evacuate, and now we're here. So you get to evacuate that and get 2 points, and now I've lost access to that extract. And I feel like that's like almost like the traditional Panic line of play. Like that's what like the play testers and the developers envisioned. They're like, look at this amazing extract. It's fair. We both have access to 2 of them easily. And if you beat somebody up but don't kill them, then they get 2 points. And now that's off the table. And so like that's where it's fun. It's not fun when it's like one of the many options to go and grab your thing safely and then back up with priority, go up 3-1 on panic, score 3-1 on panic, whatever we get on the secure for a few turns. And then at the top of whatever, because I ran panic in my roster and I generate a lot of power on my characters just innately, I win. Turn 3, turn 4. That's when panic is not fun.
I can agree.
There's definitely a fix needed for panic. I mean, even panic, like out of like the core set stuff, like panic is a really fun scenario. Don't get me wrong when I say this, but like it's even out of the core set, right? Well, you've got Steam Avengers that are saving power turn after turn, and you've got Cabal that's gaining extra power.
Give me panic without the scoring. Like just give me like 4 a B-shaped extract there. You score 1 by holding 1 and only it basically spiders, but it's 4 instead of 5. Like I'm cool with that.
It needs a cool drawback. Yeah, it needs a drawback, not a bonus.
Like give them -1 defense. I don't care.
Yeah, make them all senators, right? They're people you're carrying around. Make them all senators.
Like it's super cool. Like I want a B-shaped extract. All right, next one. B-Terra game. Why this is in the Twitch chat? Why do you think they are waiting so long to provide more crisis cards? I'm gonna come back 100% to my tinfoil hat, and that is they are doing a rework of Crisis. I've been saying
it's been too long with nothing. Yeah,
I have been saying this for the past fucking year and a half. I feel like, or year anyways, where they're going to be doing a rework of Crises. They're going to be doing all this. It's going to be a Crisis pack. It doesn't make sense that they're going to do a card pack 2022 and not release a Crisis card pack as well with it, because they want to make this game accessible. If they want to make the game accessible, they're going to do a Crisis card pack because it makes sense. It's a business. It makes sense in a business, and it makes sense for the game. 100%. This is what it is. Like, I have no insider information. I don't know any of that shit. But it's like they won't let me be a playtester, probably because I have a podcast.
What, do you have a podcast or something?
Yeah. But it's like it's straight up like I 100% think, and I've been saying it for the past year. You can look back at many episodes, even when I was on the Danger Room, I would say this. Like it's just everything points to there being a Crisis card pack. When? I have no fucking clue. Hopefully soon, because this would be amazing for the game. Just give me a Crisis card pack that they rework some of the crises to balance it in, because some of these crises are from the core box, and like they're with core box ideas. They really are. So a Crisis card pack with reworked crises. Let's fucking go.
So 2 things. One, I'm fine with the core set crises. I think they're actually incredibly well balanced for the game in general. I don't love Deadly Meteors, but it still has a place. And God damn it, you left again. All right, so I'm going to have to talk for a couple minutes now. I think that Deadly Meteors is not my favorite crisis. I would love a crisis pack. I don't think the core crises need to be reworked, but I would really, 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 really love a crisis pack. Like I said earlier in the episode, it would help me get new players into the game, to convince them that like they don't have to buy character packs that they don't give 2 craps about, to be able to have a crisis that their team could really excel at. And on the other side of that coin, I think that by having a more accessible game, by having crises not locked like this, then we're in a much better environment for just playing the game, because they can adjust them as they see fit. Kind of like, we're in that same range now with character cards, even though it's a little bit spicier, because they've basically said that they don't want to do that and they won't do it again. But with the crises, if we could have a little bit more fluidity with the crises, I think it would be amazing. I don't think the core crises need to be reworked, but if they took a look at basically everything else that's come out since then, I would not be opposed to it. And I have somewhat strong feelings about the EMAP. I don't dislike it so much as I just feel that it is Yahtzee with an IP skin in a lot of cases. And so I would like to see something where if a map was going to be adjusted, I would choose the E map to be the one that got an adjustment. But in general, I think that just taking a look at all of the crises and giving them an update for this current state of the game would be a good thing. And print and play would be great.
Be Terra game. Where is the Mystic Flip secure? I know, right? Where's the Mystic Flip?
Where is the Mystic Flip? Convocation
Also,
needs a crisis to shine on.
I want.
They're not good enough.
I want a secure or an extract that gives you bleed. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh my.
Oh my. Joey Edge, is meta really a thing at bigger tournaments? I've only been to a handful of events, and there doesn't only really seem to be an actual overarching meta. Is this something to really consider? I'm going to come back to variance is such a huge thing in this game that there never truly can be a meta. When you come down to the core concepts of the game and how much variance there is, there never truly can be a 100% meta. However, what you end up seeing at these bigger events comes back to currently Malekith and Sam Vengers. That is what you see at huge events. Like, look at Nova, look at NashCon. That is what you see at the top, whatever you want to call it. So, like, when it comes down to considering, I don't think you should really, like, actually be like, okay, cool, metagaming, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Play whatever you want. Play what you jive with. Play what you've been working on. Play whatever you want. The actual overarching meta is so dice dependent and so variant with this game that it can be whatever it is at the moment. Like, I don't know. Like, literally, like, the meta of the game is like a pure definition of hot takes, right? You agree with that?
Yep. I do.
Cool. All right. Oh, there's
only thing I would add to this question is that there's a stat that's not being tracked on Longshanks, and I've actually got a message out to Sam about it. But it's something that some of the X-Wing followers that I used to pay attention to and content creators that I used to pay attention to would mention is basically like chance to make cut using X. And I think that would be a really interesting statistic to be tracked for Crisis Protocol, whether it's affiliation or if it's, piece by piece. And now that we've got a roster code import for Longshanks, the piece by piece is actually kind of interesting to me. But basically, it's a 20-person event. There are 10 Avengers there. How many of those Avengers wind up making whatever the cut is? X-Wing was a little easier because everything in X-Wing had a cut. There really wasn't anything where like you just played through Swiss. It was always a cut. But I think that's a really interesting thing to look at, right? Because that is, it also includes kind of a shadow statistic of mirror matches knocking each other out, which is really interesting to me. Because if half the Avengers wind up knocking each other out in round 3 or 4, but then, 4 of 10 still make the cut. Like that's an incredible percentage, right, of rosters that are making cut. And I think that that's where metas actually develop. It's in the top end of what's going on. And that's where we have to be really careful, both as players and participants and stewards of this game.
There was more to this question that I didn't see.
Uh-oh.
When roster building, or do you is it something to really consider when roster building, or do you just put something together you feel is all around solid, basically spending a lot of time preparing to face certain things and you don't even end up facing them? I'm gonna go ahead and once again look back at my Malekith list. I had played 120 something games before Nova, and I didn't win Nova. Ryan Janway won Nova. I don't know how many games he played. I'm actually kind of interested, like how much games he played in prep. But like, it just makes me feel like I spent so much time trying to perfect that list for what I thought was the meta for no reason, when ultimately the reason why I didn't make it to the top 8 was because
what happened? What happened with that?
Corvus destroyed Malekith. But like, when it comes down to Janway is an LFG Hound on TTS server, I mean, you're not wrong, but it's like it comes like, is he actually playing that list or is he playing like different things for fun? Like, I don't know.
He's probably playing that.
Yeah, he's probably
I
playing.
mean, it's basically the same roster he was playing in the league. He played a lot of league games with it. A
Yeah.
lot of games prepping for the league games.
But like my point being is like over 120 games playing a certain like list idea and then like fine tuning that list. I probably only had like actually like 30 games with the actual list that I actually took to Nova.
Right, final roster.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of it just feels like it was wasted time because of the fact that like variance overcame preparation, which I think is kind of like the core concept.
No, it definitely did.
Yeah, like let's be real.
You rolled no blocks.
Like, I rolled no blocks.
There's no world where
Like,
I can make you roll no blocks.
I will 100% concede the fact that like Corvus can take down Malekith. I will 100% say that Corvus can take down Malekith easily. But what I won't say is Corvus one-shotting Malekith 2 times in a single game. like that is
rounding is more accurate, but yes,
I guess that's fair.
yes,
But like close enough. So it kind of comes down to like it makes me feel like all of the prep time that I put into that list, like I guess it wasn't wasted, but it's like all the fine tuning wasn't necessary at that point because at the end of this game there's so much variance
that's very fair.
that like I could like you said, like you took a list that you literally just threw together like literally like what 2 nights before you left for Nova. And
okay, so you know that I didn't actually just throw the list together 2 nights before Nova. There was a ton of theory and
and like you've
prior
played
experience.
You played Black Quarter, so yes, I'll 100% agree with that.
I was literally trying to find a Black Order roster that I felt comfortable playing into a meta that included. So I'll take the opposite tack on this and basically say like I did a ton of thought work on what I thought a Black Order list needed to include and needed to have to play into an environment. You took the opposite approach of basically trying to get a list through experience, like a brand new centerpiece, right? Yeah. How do I support this brand new centerpiece? I was looking at taking something that I had already explored and being like, does this still have any functionality in a modern game?
Yeah.
And the last thing I would have to say about our game, I'm sure it won't be the last thing to say about our game, like overall, but the last thing I would say is that while Malekith might be advantaged into the field at 14, maybe he isn't advantaged into Black Order at 14.
Can agree.
Even though I think that, you know, that's a hard dimension to quantify, especially how the dice worked out in our game. Because I have said from the beginning of Black Order and Mal is that you need a dice break. I just happened to catch like almost all of them in that game.
BTR game in the Twitch chat. If you didn't play on TTS, how many games would you have gotten with your roster before the con? You said 120 games. How many were TTS / in person? Honestly, 100% honest. I played probably like 100 and I probably think 110 at least on TTS.
I was gonna say 117.
Yeah,
120 because I know you played a 3-round event.
Yeah. Well, there were some other games I had played like outside of that. Okay. So I'd say probably like right around the 110 mark of the 120 something. Some majority were TTS. Like, TTS is a great tool. I won't deny that 100%. It's a great tool to use to try and get games in, especially shadowboxing or playing against other people or playing league games or playing in random tournaments that you see on TTS. It's a great tool. However, it doesn't beat playing in person because of the social aspect and because of actually seeing how things play on the table. Like NashCon last year, 2021.
Yeah.
I had basically primarily played TTS and not played very much in-person games because COVID was a thing and we couldn't play in person very much. So a lot of my like mistakes played at NashCon were mistakes because I was so used to having a certain angle of view on TTS and being able to see every single angle I needed to of the playfield. And at NashCon, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna move here and I can shoot you." Like, well, no, you can't see me. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
I didn't see that angle because of the fact of I'm not on TTS and I can't do that. So that there is a big thing. That actually is a big thing. Like in real life play, in my opinion, trumps TTS 100%. So that is a thing.
I've gone to time twice in real life events, and one of them was the first round at NashCon, and
Yeah.
I'm the same team as what you just described, because like that was the first time I'd played the game in person outside of my kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, basically, like I had a few games at a store, but like we weren't playing on a clock. Like I was, playing with other people, and we were just, having fun. There wasn't a clock on anything. I went to NashCon, and it was like, oh wow. The first round went to time, and after that, like it was just, I just had a different perspective for the rest of the day. It was also the list that I was playing, the player I was playing. Like it was a very, one of the things that I think everyone walked away with from NashCon 1 was like, there are matchups that take more time than this game allows. And it's just how it works out. And so this was Doctor Strange and Iron Fist versus Black Order. And so I had two different activate your giant Thanos things to manage going on there. And so it was a very close game. So big props to Sandbox. I still remember that game as well. And it was a good game. And we went to time, and he's got far more than a chance in hell to win that game if we don't have dice down, because he was about to roll a big old shot into my Thanos.
I remember Sandbox. Like I remember playing him at NashCon, and he was like, "Oh, this is like the first games I've played of MCP."
Yeah,
like great guy. I want to say he's from Tennessee.
He is. I think he's West Tennessee, if memory serves. The West Tennessee group.
But yeah, like I remember like last year NashCon, like I played against him in one of the rounds, and it was like he's from Memphis. Okay. I remember like playing him, and he was like, "Man, this is like we were talking." He's like, "Oh, you're from the Danger Room, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, I'm scared to play against you." I'm like, "Man, let's just have fucking fun." I'm pretty sure he beat me. And it was very much like
you were playing X-Force, right?
Yeah, I was playing X-Force that game.
He was playing Defenders though, so what?
Yeah, he was.
What a world we live in.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We got a couple more listener questions. We're having fun. We're having a good time. This is probably our longest episode to date, and we're having a good time. All right, sure thing. Again, on the last episode, you mentioned Fingerguns lost because he hadn't considered webs would beat him if he saw them, and that people should be prepped for Samvengers. These kind of feel like gear checks. What are some gear checks that you would recommend a player takes their list through in their head? 1. Samvengers. 2. Malekith. 3. Kingpin. And probably, honestly, currently the rest is like, I don't even know at the moment, to be completely honest. I would just say Mal, Samvengers, and Kingpin. Those are probably like the top 3.
Guardians,
yeah.
Brotherhood, and if you are an attrition rusher, especially Shield. Because
I guess
Eye in the Sky can really wreak havoc on you.
I guess always prep for Black Order too, because if you've not played in the Black Order, especially with like Malekith being like the new bad attrition list, Black Order's kind of fallen off the wayside. Like somebody's gonna come in with the Black Order list and kind of like sneak attack you. So be prepared for Black Order too, even though it's almost the same list as Malekith. It's slightly different, but it's like the same goals.
The things that you want to bring against Malekith and the things that you want to bring against Black Order are largely the same. And
yeah,
Matt in the chat says that Brotherhood's dropped off a bit. I agree that Brotherhood has dropped off a bit, but similar to Black Order, I think that it's something that you want to like try your roster against, because there's nothing like walking into that round 1, round 2 game and getting paired up against something you haven't played your roster into.
I think Brotherhood's
crap.
Brotherhood's only dropped off because of the fact that Malekith is so prevalent. Like Brotherhood's terrible into Malekith. So
I don't know about that. I think that Magneto
Brotherhood is terrible.
Sell.
Yeah.
And Magneto jugs Reality Space Thanos into Malekith is also a tough sell. Yeah. I think that Mystique Brotherhood has a surprising amount of options into that. It's not perfect. I'm not saying you have an advantaged fight. I just think that it's a lot fairer than trying to drop Magneto into it and see what happens.
Indeed. Joey Edge waiting for Blob to play my Brotherhood again. Completely fair. I can't wait to see his
You're
rules.
not alone.
You are not alone. All right. And another question from Joey.
Oh, so to get back to Sure Things question, there is
Yeah.
one other thing I want to say, and it's that I wouldn't say that I lost because I hadn't considered webs would beat me. I punted to webs because I did not expect to see them, and I think that there's a big difference there. It wasn't that like I was like, oh no, it doesn't matter, like webs or whatever. It was like I don't think that I'm going to see a web warrior, and if I do, I think that I have the tools. And honestly, in both of my games, I got schooled by this Web Warriors roster. It wasn't like dice. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. Like I made mistakes. I made an unforced error. My opponent did not give me an opportunity to make an unforced error. He played a very clean game. He played his list very well, and that's why I lost. So it wasn't that I was like, I'm not going to think about Web Warriors. It was like, I don't have a good matchup into Web Warriors, but I don't expect to see them. And then I did see them twice, and both games I did not play the game that I needed to play against that opponent. And he was a solid dude. Played a very quality game against me both times.
Both times.
That's all.
All right. Next question from Joey Edge. We're almost at the end, I promise. We got a lot of listener questions this week. I'm actually kind of happy with that. I like the audience interaction. All right. Joey Edge, with the 2 tactics cards revealed, do you think Sentinels could give Mal the business? I think Sentinels can give the whole entire meta the business. I find them very interesting. Prime is a really, really good 5. The Mark IVs, they're sketchy because they kind of kill themselves, but you now have the tactics card that like puts health back on them, which is kind of cool. And then the brain and affiliated character now, which I don't know how much that actually helps. I haven't really dived in super deep into Sentinels that much. So I don't know. I don't know about giving Mal the business. I don't know, because Mal can just throw them with ferocity and throw them into each other, and that's 6 incoming damage.
But I mean, when I said that, you said brace and indomitable.
Yeah, you brace and indomitable. You're not wrong.
Then looking at stuff like Gwen, I think is another one that's like really interesting with Sentinels.
Yeah,
running Gwen in a Sentinels roster.
Yeah, and then the card that gives the person flight, immunity to bleed, and poison. I think it is.
Seems good.
Seems real good. I just wish that card popped before you made affiliation. Like, this card makes the character count towards your affiliation. That would make a huge difference because of being 5/4/4/5 for your like characters. Like, they said Nova's affiliated, and all we know are Prime, Nova, Sentinel. So it's like 5/4/4/5 for your like affiliation roster is like rough. So really, really hope.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
I mean, if they had like, if that card like gave like, hey, this character counts towards your affiliation, that card would be instant huge for the affiliation, and I could see that affiliation being top tier. I like the Sentinels. They're gonna bring some interesting stuff to the game. If they give Mal the business, I don't really know. There are a lot of health to chew through. And they actually have a daze side, unlike Hulk. So I don't know. Prime is huge for the meta.
I think that we've said this for a while. It's something that Hyper Viper said back when people were complaining about Thanos, and I go after the big boy. If the big boy is going to beat you and make you lose, go after him. And you just have to commit. So if it's a Hulk or it's a Malekith or it's a this or that, you just go all in on getting that piece off the board. Is it going to be easy? I didn't say it would be easy. I said that if that's your out, play to your out. And if ignoring that piece is your out, then play to your out. Like whatever that winds up being, whether it's go all in or try to stay the hell away from it. The problem with these big boy pieces is that you have to commit from the beginning of the game. You don't get to pivot. If you go all in on this, you don't get to say, wait a second. Nah, this isn't working. He's rolled all his blocks the first 2 turns. I'm never going to take him down. What do I do from here? Like at that point, there's a real good chance you've already lost this game, even if you don't feel it in in your rumblies, right? Like go for it, or don't. And if you don't go for it, don't come in hard on turn 4 and decide that this is the turn that's going to make it happen. Like, there are situations where that is the case, where you're like, he's taking some chip damage. I think I can get him down. He's holding an objective. Like, he's holding an objective, standing on a point. Sure, there's always going to be an edge case where it's like, throw away the logic and do the thing. If the dice carry you, the dice carry you. And if it's your day, it's your day. Like, whatever you want to call it. You can't pivot off your game plan. If your game plan is focus and kill Mal, and just keep going for it. Because if you give up on that halfway, there's a real good chance you gave up on it for a reason, and you're not going to be able to get back in the game anyway. So just keep going for it. And if it's not your day, well, it's also not your day. And that's just how dice games work.
All right. Last question from Matt Herb or Draz. Ignoring crisis threat level, who is the best character to use under your skin on? And that's the new Sentinel card that lets them be a Sentinel. So hot take. I see a lot of talk on Hood being like a prime, like, this is huge. Like, let's give Hood immune to bleed, poison, and flight. Also because
I'd rather put it on somebody Hood's going to heal.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though, is the Sentinels are immune to bleed, aren't they? So it's like he can literally heal.
You're not giving it to a Sentinel.
So it's like he can heal bringing him affiliated means he can heal the Sentinels.
14, 17. All right. So it's a 3 threat. I think we're talking about a 3 threat for who's the best at this.
I really don't know. Who do you want to have flight that's like good for like objectives?
I mean, Black Cat seems kind of silly.
Giving Black Cat flight.
Long move.
Yeah, with flight, yeah. Or Zemo. Zemo's good.
But both of those characters have like some, I don't want to say power problems, but like, like you're not going to benefit from that every single round, right? It's going to be something that you need on like round 2 or 3, and it might be game breaking, game deciding, but it's not necessarily like.
I can see Ronan. Give it to Ronan. Medium base, medium move, or fucking Red Skull. New Red Skull. Medium base, medium base. Yeah, Thanos too. But like basically any character that's a medium base, medium move, like that's huge. Especially if they're a size 2. If they're a size 2, medium base, medium move, giving them flight is such a huge thing. Like I like Red Skull or Thanos. Yeah, I'd say one of those two. Sabretooth would be pretty cool. Blade needs damn flight or wall crawler. Sabretooth. There's a lot of characters that wouldn't mind it. I think because it's Sentinel affiliated, being able to do that, you probably want like somebody who's actually going to be like killing and attributing to that leadership. I actually kind of like Red Skull. Red Skull might be my favorite for that because medium base, medium move, and he's a straight up frontliner. I like Red Skull for that. Yeah.
Corvus.
Give Corvus flight. Yeah, get out of here. You didn't say that. Get out of here.
And immunity to bleed.
And immunity to bleed. So Hood could be in your affiliation and heal him. You could run Prime, Sentinel. It's 5, 13. Corvus for 18. Yeah, fuck that. Get out of here. Get out of town.
I'm here for it.
Oh, give him flight, medium move with his God. Yeah. That Corvus is probably the Corvus or Red Skull, like New Skull. Yeah, I could see one of those two. Yeah. All right. I think this has been a long-winded episode. It's been super long. Marathon. If you have stayed this whole entire length, I applaud you.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Thank you to everybody who hung out in the Twitch chat. Thank you for coming out and hanging out and listening to the episode. It has been super fun. Hopefully this has been like some goodness and reevaluating of how you see yourself in the current gaming community. But as always, with that, we have been the Rogue Agents, and you have been the Bleeding Ears listeners.
The tip of the spear.
The tip of the spear.
We have an outro, right? There it is.
There it is.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this war, there's no surrender. He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky?
You don't like a fair fight?
I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
Think you're the only superhero in the world?
Touché.